shit. It's been forever.
Hey,
Kamala Harris is a DEI candidate.
So
wait, which one of you said that?
Jack said that.
This guy said that. Why? Okay,
Yeah.
one sec, Aaron. Why do you say that?
She just is. We had no primary for her.
Do you know what DEI means?
No primary. Did we have a primary for Kamala Harris?
Do you know what DEI means?
Did we have a primary for Kamala Harris? You answer my question.
do you know what
Wait,
DEI
Harry,
means?
can I just say something real quick?
You answer my question.
Well, I'm not gonna talk to you if you won't engage in good
Harry,
faith.
I
So
just
you're
want to
gonna
say something real
No,
quick.
Yeah,
well,
no,
answer
Aaron,
my question. I'm asking you a question.
guys, both of you got to be quiet. One sec. So Jack, I'll talk to you and then I'll talk to Aaron in just a second. So if you're not going to answer, have a back and forth, you're obviously not engaging in good faith. And I'll just drop you down and I'll just talk to Aaron alone. And I'm perfectly happy to do that. I'll sleep fine at night doing that. And then Aaron, you were up here first, so I'll give you the opportunity to ask whatever question.
Harry, I just want to say, like, I'm a big fan of you. I know you're a Democrat, and I still support you. You know.
Are you
No
a
matter
Republican?
your
You're voting for Trump?
Yeah,
What state are you voting in?
New York.
Okay. All right. When do you think of the
This is my
subscription?
first election voting. 4 years ago, I couldn't vote.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You know, in your first election, you should be on the right side of history, man. You shouldn't be siding with someone as terrible as Donald
I
Trump.
mean,
you know.
Kamala's a liar. Holy moly! I
Well,
cannot.
I don't think that anybody in their lives has not lied. So I don't. But I think that
Did
comparing
you
like
hear
Kamala
what she
Harris,
said at one of her rallies?
I think that calling Kamala Harris a liar and then using that as an argument to vote for Donald Trump is comical. I mean, Trump told over 30,000 lies during his presidency. There's an entire database online that was published by the Washington Post that has every single lie and falsehood fact checked. You can go look this up and read through it yourself. I would actually encourage you to do so. And of course, Donald Trump's biggest lie is the 2020 election. He still maintains today that he won, which of course he did not, and continues to further divide the country. So I'm not saying that Kamala Harris is perfect, that she's never made a mistake or never lied. But the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is a pathological serial liar. So,
Was the economy better under Trump or Kamala?
Jack, I told you I'll talk to you in a second, man. If you can't be patient, I'll drop you down regardless. I just don't care. Aaron, continue.
Kamala, I'm a believer in Christ, and Kamala said, someone said Jesus is king, and Kamala was like, "You're at the wrong rally. You should go to the one down the street."
Yeah,
In
so
like
actually,
a sarcastic manner.
so what they actually said they were Trump supporters. They were trying to interrupt her rally. They called her a liar and things like that. And that's actually just not true. She wasn't kicking these people out because of any religious
support
affiliation.
someone that doesn't believe in Jesus Christ.
She does believe she's religious. By the way, also, please, I mean, Trump, you're going to vote for Trump. You think he believes in Jesus?
Yes.
So when he was asked like to name his favorite Bible verse, or if he preferred the New Testament or the Old Testament, and he couldn't, do you think that's representative of somebody who's like very much in tune to religion?
Well, did you hear what JD Vance said? Someone said Jesus is king, and JD Vance was like, "Yes, that's right. Jesus is king."
Do you think Jesus endorses likes liars? Do you think Jesus is somebody who would stand by somebody who assaults women?
Well, I don't think Jesus knows who Donald Trump really
Yeah, I'm
is.
just saying that in your view of like how you perceive Jesus, do you think Jesus would stand by somebody who assaults women?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So I don't think that, JD Vance pandering and saying, someone says Jesus is king or whatever you're citing, and being like, hell yeah, means anything. If he's standing by somebody like Donald Trump who lies, who sins, I guess in a religious context, who is clearly immoral, who assaults women, who commits crimes. I mean, this is no religious man. This is certainly not somebody that any religious figure would side with.
Well, I don't think it's really been proven that Donald Trump abuses women.
Well, he's actually on audio saying it. He's saying, like, I grab him by the blank. I don't even wait. I just do it. He's also on audio saying he wants to date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He's on audio calling his daughter voluptuous, saying he'd date her if she
what
wasn't his
Kamala
daughter.
Harris says?
What does Kamala Harris say?
She said Gen Z voters are stupid, and I'm part of the Gen Z, so
Yeah.
I don't like that she's saying that.
Yeah, so she wasn't calling a Gen Zers stupid. She was just saying that young people have a lot to learn.
And she's like,
and I
how
think that-
dare we
I
say
think that we
Merry
both-
Christmas?
Kamala Harris has said Merry Christmas. Obama has said Merry Christmas. Biden has said Merry Christmas. There's none of that.
Yeah, but she's like, how dare we say Merry Christmas when
She's
there's
never
people
said that.
suffering?
She's never
She
said that.
literally has.
She's not said. What are you talking about?
I wish I could pull up the video right now. I wish
The video
there
that
was
doesn't exist of her being like, "How dare we say Merry Christmas?" Kamala Harris has said Merry Christmas.
She's literally said that. You could look up the video. You're lying again, Harry. You're the liar.
Really? Do you want me? Do you want me to look this up right now?
Yes.
What would you like me to look up? Also, how
Kamala
is this?
Harris saying, "How dare we wish Merry Christmas?"
So how about Merry Christmas from Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff on YouTube, which is posted as
my God.
her being vice president.
The other one.
Oh, so apparently she said, "How
Here
dare
you
we?"
are pandering to Kamala Harris just to try to make her look good.
So you're saying that how she says Merry Christmas, and she
And
says
you're
like
just
puts an
laughing it
entire
off.
message out on
You're
YouTube with her
lying.
husband, and then you're saying, well, simultaneously, oh, she doesn't like saying Merry Christmas. Come on, man. Look, here's the fact of the matter is,
She says whatever she wants to do to appeal to her voters, whatever rally
you
she's
heard
at.
Trump. All right, man. Aaron, you have a great rest of your night, man. This is going nowhere. Jack, what can I do for you, man?
What do you think about Kamala Harris saying her immigration has been lacking and wasn't good during her vice presidency?
Can you give me an exact quote?
She was in a quote on 60 Minutes was saying that her handle of immigration was not great.
Yeah, so I asked for like an exact quote.
I mean, I don't have
Like,
the
can you
exact
give me
quote,
like
but
the
she did
entire
say-
context or like
No,
an
can you
article
just
to
answer
look up
my
or
question?
something?
Can you answer my question?
Yeah, I need the proper context to be able to answer your question. I can't just answer a
Well,
question without
she said
context,
that
right?
she did not handle immigration greatly. There you go. That's the exact quote.
So can you like pull up an article on it?
No, because I'm on my phone right now. I can't.
Yeah,
pull
so you
up an
can
article, but I
swipe
know
up out of
she
the
said it.
TikTok app and you can swipe up
I
out of
know
TikTok
she
and go to
said it.
Google.
I know she said it.
Okay, so you saying I know she said it and actually proving that she said
She
that are
admitted
two different
it.
things.
Well,
And the reason
okay.
I'm asking you to pull up an article or video on this is because she didn't say that.
She
So
did.
please, you can swipe up out of TikTok and go find an article for me, and then you can prove me wrong if you want.
She did say that.
So okay, so if she did, then just look it up, find it. You got it.
You're a joke.
I mean, if you're saying that she
The
said something and you
question
can't even just swipe up at a TikTok and find an article for saying it, then I don't think I'm the joke here, my man. You got to be able to back up what you
No,
say.
I think you are the joke. I'm telling you what she said.
I know
don't
you.
have to go get
So
a quote.
okay, Donald Trump said that all kids are bad.
No, he never said
No,
that.
I'm telling you, he said that.
No, well, I actually
No,
have
but
facts
I'm
that she
telling you,
said.
he said that. I'm telling you, he said that. Right. So like you see how like me just saying I'm telling you I said that doesn't mean anything. I actually have to back it up. So the same with you saying like, oh, Kamala Harris said, oh, X, Y, and Z. You actually have to back up the
Okay,
fact
I'll
that she
go
said
find
that.
it for you, Harry. You want me to go find it for
Yeah,
you?
that's. I mean, I've been asking you for like 5 minutes now, but by all means, it's quite literally like a trust me, bro. It's quite literally a trust me, bro. Saying just trust me, just trust me, just trust me. How about no? How about no? But no. Like Trump, believe me. Yeah, Trump always says, believe me. Like this guy, just believe me. Just believe me. Make sure to double tap the screen if you haven't already. Let's try to get to 200,000 likes now. Of course, drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. And also Venmo, Cash App, link in bio if you want to support the live as we wait for this guy to pull up a non-existent article. It really shouldn't take this long. If you just watch this, I'll do it together. Kamala Harris says she didn't handle border well.
Harry?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I just looked this
Okay.
up. There's no...
Harry,
Go ahead.
do you want it? Put it on CBS News.
Yeah. Go ahead. What's the article? I can't hear you when you go off the app, by the way. So you have to kind of like know what the article is and then come back and tell me.
Kamala Harris defends record on immigration, saying solutions at her hand. So someone does not have a solution for a non-problem. So she's acknowledging that there is a problem, and
Wait,
she
what?
needs a solution.
Yeah, so I don't think I don't think I ever said that Kamala Harris hasn't said that there's a problem. I think that everybody recognizes that there's a problem with immigration. There has been for decades now, but that doesn't mean that she said that she handled the border badly. You said that she said on 60 Minutes that she handled
If the
it
border
badly.
is a problem,
And right now
it's-
you're showing me an article of which he said, yeah, we need to solve the problem at the border.
He
This
said the
doesn't tell me
border is
anything.
a problem. Yes, that it
Yeah.
needs a
So
solution.
your original claim was that she said she handled the border badly as
She's the
as
border-
vice president.
She takes control of the border.
So the vice president actually doesn't have control over the border, constitutionally speaking. There's no way for them to have power over the border. But again, your claim was that Kamala Harris said she handled the border badly, and I'm asking you to prove that. And you just realized when you were looking this up that she never said that doesn't exist. It's that easy, my man. You said that you said that. Oh, she said it, that you could prove it.
Kamala
I'm waiting.
Harris defends record on immigration. She needs a solution
So
at hand.
So yeah, 100%. I totally agree that that's the title of the article. But you said that
she was
she
handed
said
one
she
job.
mishandled.
She was handed one job.
Hey.
She was handed one job and couldn't
you
do
said
it.
that she mishandled the border. Where did she say that?
She was handled one job and couldn't do it.
I asked you a simple question. You said that Kamala Harris said during a 60 Minutes interview that she mishandled the border. Where did she say that?
That solutions are at hand for immigration. That means there is a problem.
Yeah. So again, I nobody's disagreeing with what you're saying at this moment in
Kamala
time.
Harris was
that
handed one job and could not perform that job.
So Kamala Harris absolutely in this interview or whatever interview it's cited in this article that there needs to be a solution on immigration and that she has a solution. You said that she said she mishandled the border and she openly acknowledged that. I'm asking you, where did she say that? But you can just say that you were wrong as opposed to doing this back and forth and trying to justify it. That's way more.
She said it on
respectful.
CBS News.
Okay, so go find me where Kamala Harris said that she mishandled the border.
The article. She said it.
Do me a favor. Find me the exact quote where she said, I mishandled the border or something along those lines.
Give me a second here. I'll go find it for you, Harry.
Yeah, It doesn't exist, my man. I can save you the time. I can save you the time. Unless you want to prolong this, which, everybody has their things. Max, thank you for the $1. Who's your favorite president of all time? Don't say
Exact
Biden.
quote, Harry?
What was that?
You want the exact quote?
Yep. Again, I can't hear you.
Solutions are at hand.
I'm reading.
And from day one, we have been offering solutions.
Yeah. So where in this quote did she say she mishandled the border?
Saying that you need a solution to a border, that means there is a problem there.
Yeah. So you said that she said she mishandled the border. I'm asking you where she said that. Her saying that, there's a problem at the border, which has been the case for decades now, does not mean that.
So it's been 4 years. Why hasn't she fixed it?
So the Democrats and actually some Senate Republicans proposed a bipartisan border bill that was written by Democrats and Republicans, including Senator James Lankford, one of the most conservative in Congress. He was actually endorsed by Donald Trump. And that bill was rejected by Republicans because Donald Trump told them to vote against it for political reasons.
Okay, can you tell me this? So why under Trump was immigration at its low?
I mean, I'd say that immigration was low under Donald Trump, but that was a continuing trend. But it actually wasn't the trend for the entirety of his presidency. From 2018 to 2019, apprehensions at the border doubled in those 2 years, in that 2 year period. But again, immigration or encounters at the border was already going down from Obama to Trump. So it's not like he instituted a bunch of policy that made it that way.
But immigration was lower. And when Kamala Harris was in there, immigration was higher, right?
Yeah, I mean, but to be clear, more migrants coming to the border was not the fault of Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or actually anybody in the United States. It was due to global factors outside of the United States and certainly outside of the control of the president. I mean, can you tell me what Kamala Harris or Joe Biden did that opened the border or got more people to come to the country?
Can you tell me what Donald Trump did to get people out of? Not let people in?
I'm not even talking about Donald Trump right now. You're saying that, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are at fault for a spike in migration. So I'm asking you a simple question.
Immigration was low during Donald Trump, though.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just talked about how that trend was continuing from Obama to Trump. So it wasn't like he instituted a bunch of policy to make it that way. But your specific claim is that that Biden and Kamala Harris led to an influx of migrants. And I'm just simply asking you, what did they do to cause that?
They opened up the borders.
Okay, how did they open up the borders? Well, you can't go to Google now.
I'm not going to Google. They allowed people to come in.
Okay, so what did they do to allow that? What law changed?
They opened the border. They allowed.
How did they open the border?
Illegal. You don't have. Those people are breaking the law.
How did they open the border?
What do you mean? They're letting them come in illegally. There is no law.
What law changed? No
laws. They're coming in illegally.
So you're saying that Biden and Kamala, how does that work? How are they, if we still have the same laws at the border that apparently existed under Donald Trump, and apparently his laws were so strict that it prevented migration, but apparently those laws are not so strict that migrants are coming in under Biden Harris?
He was enforcing Border Patrol to not let people come in. Kamala Harris and Biden were enforcing people not to do their job.
Where did Kamala Harris or Joe Biden say that they don't want the Department of Homeland Security to enforce
You can go on
this
Twitter,
border?
and Border Patrol literally said that we are being told not to do our job.
Yeah, please pull that up.
Okay, I will.
I also just citing Twitter is crazy. I can't believe we're in a.
Well, Border Patrol is a verified source. You're on TikTok, so who are you to say?
I'm waiting. I mean, you just saying if you go on Twitter, that's crazy.
Well,
It's just
who
like,
are you to say about
so
another
go
media
find
source?
it.
You're
Go
on
find it
TikTok.
then.
You're
Go
talking
find
on
it.
TikTok.
Yeah, I mean that's
You're
why I have
talking on
sources.
TikTok.
That's why I have sources for everything I say, so I can back
You're
up
going to
everything I
talk
say.
about Twitter, but you're on TikTok on live, so it just doesn't.
That's why I have sources for everything I say. You're just saying if you go on Twitter, you can find it. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, buddy? We'll wait. We'll wait.
A quote from a Border Control agent saying, "My hands are tied if I." A direct quote from a Border Patrol agent.
Yep. Okay, so can you say we didn't hear you because you went off TikTok live?
Okay, ready? Our hands are tied. If I do not let them cross, they will fire me.
And who's this?
A Border Patrol agent?
Yeah. What's his name?
You're
Right
loud.
there. Is your mom screaming at you right now?
Yeah, you're very loud.
Yeah, let him know. Yeah, fuck yeah, let him know. Yeah, you know he's on here defending Donald Trump assaulting. No way. No. Oh, bro, that is too good, man. Oh my. Oh my god, that is so funny, bro. His mom just came at, "You're too loud. You're too loud." He was screaming about something. Oh man, that's so funny, dude. Anyway, all right, moving on. Oh man, Rob, thank you for the $25 on Venmo. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the hearts. Jody, thank you for the $5. Remember, Trump said he loves the uneducated. Yeah, I mean, wow. Jasmine, thank you for the $1. Hey, Harry, I've been trying to get Caitlin to watch you for the last couple of months. Will she finally listen? And now she's obsessed when you say hi to her when you go live. We appreciate the knowledge you provided us with his upcoming election, Texas for Harris. Jasmine, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for everything you're doing, and I appreciate the shout out to Caitlin. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. And thank you for the support. Caroline, thank you for the $1. I got a Georgia voter to vote Kamala through phone banks. See? Caroline, you're amazing. Phone banking works. Talking to people works. You're amazing. I hope you know that. I appreciate you doing that work. It's truly fantastic. So make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 300,000 likes. And of course, spam those shares down there, and also Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Stacy is saying MAGA in the chat. We'll give her an invite. See if she comes up. Oh, here she comes. Venmo Cash App link in bio. Venmo Cash App link in bio. Snapchat link in bio. I don't know. Hello, Stacy.
Sorry.
Hello. Your audio is a little low. Can you bring your phone a little bit closer?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just never thought I would get through. Harry, you're so popular.
I'm not popular. Come on now.
Well, I'm a big, so here's what it is. I'm a big Trump supporter, and make a long story short, I lost my daughter when she was only 5, and so I only have my nieces and nephews who are your age. So I really connect to your age group because I love my nephews and my nieces that are your age, and they are mostly liberal. And so, we butt heads, but we remember at the end of the day, that's family, and you've got to love your family. And I think there's just been so much division. We have to remember what's important, that God is God of us all, and to stay connected as family.
So, but what? Just out of curiosity, 2 questions for you. What state are you voting in?
So I'm in Colorado. We usually go blue, but
Good. So, and what makes you support Trump? I mean, you're saying you want to be connected to your family, and that's awesome, and you're religious, which everybody has the right to whatever religion they like. So, what makes you want to vote for Trump based on those values?
Okay, so to be honest, I'm not a fan of his personality. It's a strictly policy. I am very pro-choice, or I'm sorry, pro-life. I'm very pro-life. I'm pro-Israel because I try and follow biblical principles. And so for me, it was the support of Israel and the getting prayer back in school and the things that I did notice when Trump was in office. I really did notice that he was making, like with the Abraham Accords, just him making the attempt at some resolution with our ally, God's chosen people, Israel, and, pro-life. So just a couple things. But basically, my voting is strictly off of, I get a guide that is how to vote biblically, and that's kind of where I go. That's where I go. So.
All right. Okay. That's a lot. So, I mean, but wouldn't you agree that Donald Trump himself, like as an individual, is the antithesis of what is taught in the Bible? I mean, he's like cheated on all of his wives. He lies. He steals. Does things like
Harry,
that.
Okay, but Harry, he who is out without sin, let him cast the first stone. I mean, God has used great, great men. King David, I mean, he had someone killed and he was with, he had an affair. I mean, just all of these famous people throughout the Bible were sinners. One thing in common that we all
Yeah. I'm not saying that, so I'm not religious, so I'm jumping into your realm to kind of frame this answer. I'm not saying that people haven't sinned. I'm not saying that everybody hasn't sinned. But you would agree that some sins, quote unquote, or some wrongdoings, let's call them, are more egregious than others. So if you tell a white lie to a friend of yours versus assaulting a woman, those are two very different actions. Both are wrong, but one is really, really wrong, really disgusting, really gross, and one is forgivable. So with Donald Trump, it's like, I'm not saying that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Barack Obama hasn't done things wrong in their lives, but Trump has done a lot wrong, very egregious things. And so doesn't that give you pause?
Like I said, I'm voting more for policy, and I'm looking back at 4 years ago, and I seriously do think, okay, we didn't have any wars going on.
True.
The border was secure. Just the types of things, and just abortion just gets more and more rampant, and it just grieves my heart. And I understand, like when speaking with my nephews, that their heart is that's taking away from a woman's right. But to me, it's like, what about the baby's right? So, I get that we're always going to butt heads on certain things, but I think overall, at the end of the day, what we should be voting for is to have a better United States.
Yeah, no, I think that we should have a better United States as well, but that doesn't happen with Donald Trump. And when you go back like 4 years, you say there was no war. That's, I'm sorry, just objectively false, right? We're, in terms of the United States, we're directly involved in less war right now in terms of like troops on the ground and American troops being in harm's way than we were under Donald Trump. More American troops died under Trump than they have under Joe Biden by a lot. It's not even close. The gap is huge. Donald Trump dropped, quote, the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan. He bombed Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, all of these different countries during his presidency. Iran attacked us under Donald Trump. Iran attacked Saudi Arabian oil refineries under Donald Trump. And in the process of doing this, injured 109 American soldiers, got them with traumatic brain injuries. So the idea that there was no war under Donald Trump is just objectively false. There was also the Syrian civil war taking place as well. So it was just not true. And Trump, increased drone strikes by a lot, killed a lot more innocent civilians, which seems very warmongery to me. And since we've kind of virtually ended the drone war and now we're not involved in Afghanistan anymore, I think if you're like, yeah, I want an anti-war candidate, you'd be going with Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump. And you say like, yeah, I'm voting on policy. And it's like, okay, but Donald Trump didn't accomplish anything as president, nothing major. And here's the thing, and somebody said this really recently, which I really resonated with me. You say, like, yeah, I'm voting on policy, but Donald Trump tried to overturn the election in 2020. So if you can't choose the leader you want to choose, and we have politicians like Trump trying to overturn elections they didn't win, then the policy doesn't matter anymore because you won't even be able to choose who you want anyway.
Yeah, this is new. Like, I have to say, because I've debated a lot with the kiddos, the nephews and nieces, and you're giving me some insight on things. I mean, I just am gonna truly tell you, I'm learning some stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that Donald Trump doesn't talk about. He doesn't want his followers to know. He doesn't want his followers to know that he actually increased drone strikes and killed a bunch more people than even Obama did. Biden has ended the drone war. He doesn't want people to know that he initiated the Afghanistan withdrawal, which was so messy, and Biden actually got us out of there, even though he was given a bad deal. He doesn't want people to know these things. He doesn't want to talk about trying to overturn the election. And as I mentioned, like, you say policy, but policy won't matter if the president's allowed to overturn an election and then folks just ignore it and let them get away with it.
Right. I mean, and honestly, I feel like either direction that we go, it's going to be just, I mean, the country is so divided right now. I just think that there is going to be no smooth transition either way, because it's just, people are so divided.
But do you really believe that if Trump wins, Biden and Harris won't turn over power?
No, I think they will.
Okay.
But I don't think it's them, the administration. I think it's the supporters.
Well, do you think that if Kamala Harris wins, Trump will accept the election results?
Excuse me?
Do you think that if Kamala Harris wins, Donald Trump will accept the results? Probably not, right?
Well, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, and that's what we're here for, to do, is debate. But I mean, when it is apparent that he's winning in every state, and then the election happens and he doesn't, can't you understand why there would be question after that?
No, because, well, he's not winning in every state. The polls are virtually tied. Like, I think any election analyst right now is saying it's 50-50. So if Kamala Harris wins, it's perfectly possible and reasonable. It's not like, it's like, oh, there's nobody supporting Kamala Harris out there. It's a very divided country, a very divided election. But Trump, just to be clear, is already laying the foundation to deny the results of the election. He's saying that he'll only accept it if it's a fair election. That's the same rhetoric he used in 2020, and he's doing it again. He's already challenging it. The RNC has hired a bunch of election related lawyers to challenge election results. They're already suing states to prevent people's mail-in ballots from being counted. It's like, the Republican, you might agree with Donald Trump more, and you and I can disagree, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I don't hate you for disagreeing with me, and I'm sure it's vice versa. But at the end of the day, we're both Americans, and I think we would agree that democracy and our ability to choose our leaders and have our votes count is significantly more important than anything else. And having the leaders in power accept the results is far more important than anything else. When Trump won in 2016, Obama met with Trump in the White House, showed him around, and passed the keys. When Bush lost in 2000, the day after the Supreme Court issued their ruling, he said, Bush won. The Democrats don't do this stuff, but Donald Trump is.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, Harry, I respect you, and I appreciate that you've educated me, and I'm not a political genius, so I don't have a lot of insight. I was really shocked that you picked up. So when I got on, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on. So I just wanted to go ahead and speak with you and tell you that I am praying for you, because you are in a leadership position. So praying that the Lord Jesus will cover your life and protect you, because there's a lot of haters either way, and just praying that God will bless you. And I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, Stacey. Well, I appreciate you coming up here and having the conversation, and you have a good rest of your night. All right.
Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stacey. I really like, this is the feeling in politics that I just can't shake. I just can't shake the fact that I think that there's so many Kamala Harris supporters out there who just don't know that they're Kamala Harris supporters. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stacey strikes me as somebody who, maybe in a typical election would say, I'm going to vote for the Republican. Right. Yeah, okay. That's fine. But I think in this election, somebody like Stacey strikes me as someone who's like, yeah, actually, you know what? Trump is just a step too far. And I think there are a lot of like genuinely good-hearted Republicans out there who, they have they have a job, they go 9 to 5, they're living a normal life. They're not studying politics all day like me, like they actually have a real life. And fundamentally, they would side with Kamala Harris if Trump and the Republicans were just more honest, but they're not. So anyway, Bernice, thank you for the $25. Thanks to your lives, I'm so confident, ready to vote a full blue ticket. I love that. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, Bernice. I appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're fantastic. Carrie, thank you for the $50. Thank you, Harry, for all you're doing to help save our country. My cousin is a political science professor and a lifelong Republican who is not voting for Trump. A political science professor. That's a esteemed role. Well, that's pretty impressive. Well, thank you, Carrie, for the $50. That's incredibly kind. Please spam the chat with 50 W's for Carrie at a minimum, just 50. That's incredibly kind. Thank you, Carrie. No, I didn't mean to say actually just 50. I say at a minimum 50. Maybe do 100 W's, 200 W's. I mean, why not? Why not? So thank you, Carrie, for your $50. And thanks to your cousin for also not voting for Donald Trump. And finally, Soren, thank you for the $1. Look forward to your TikTok lives every night. Keep doing your thing, Harry. Soren, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. That's incredibly kind. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio. If you want to support the live and all that good stuff. And also drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 400,000 likes. And of course, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I will bring you up and you can tell me why you're MAGA. It makes absolutely no sense why anybody would be MAGA. It's weird, it's strange, it's peculiar, you might even describe it as. But nonetheless, there are people that are. So we will bring them up and we will talk to them and try to convince them to not do that, to not throw away American democracy. Make sure to drop a follow again if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Jamie.
Hello.
Why are you MAGA, man?
Why am I MAGA? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I taught abroad for many years outside of America,
Where'd you teach?
English, and I was became the principal where I worked
And what country? You said you taught abroad. What country?
in Asia.
Oh, in Asia. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I always stayed away from politics. I didn't ever do politics at all. Even whenever I was young, my grandparents, they weren't into it. But here we go. So I came back and my boss, he's like for this Kamala big time. Yeah. But his son is like way against Kamala. He's for Trump. What are some points? I mean, maybe you can give me the honest truth. Did Kamala sleep with some married man?
What?
Did Kamala sleep with a married man? Or is that just some hoax going around on the casting couch? I mean, this is what I'm hearing from people that are my boss and his son.
So, your boss and his son are concerned with Kamala Harris's personal life, as opposed to her being a leader and her policy. I also find are your boss and your son not concerned with Donald Trump's personal life when it comes to cheating on every single one of his wives and paying off adult actresses he has affairs with, so that information doesn't get into the public, so he can win an election? It's just, man, this is listen. Your boss and his son are representative of a very gross trend in American politics, where people like try to go after women for their personal lives, their intimate lives with their partners, whoever it might be. But when Trump does it and just sleeps with a bunch of people and cheats on all of his wives, then, oh, no, it's no problem. So to answer your question, no, she didn't do that.
Oh, she did.
And also, what a strange thing to bring up as your first point.
I mean, these are points that actually bring their character, their personality.
Let's talk character. Let's talk character.
I know about Trump. I know about Trump. So, like I said,
you know that he assaults women and brags about assaulting women and commits crime and commits business fraud. Has been indicted. You know about?
Okay, good. If one party does it, not the other, so it's true. Okay, so
no, it's not true.
She didn't have an affair with a married man.
No, she did not.
So this stuff that I saw and that I've been told about is just all
I don't know who's telling you this stuff, but they're probably not the most reliable source. You can also just look this stuff up.
It's sources and all, you know.
I don't know what these sources and all means, but maybe you should not be friends with those people anymore. Very strange objections to a woman running for president of the United States.
Yeah, like I said, my boss, he's really for Kamala, and his son is like way against her. And they're both really intelligent people as well. So, but you know, they tell me back and forth. Then I see these guys right here on TikTok, and they're discussing this, discussing that. People bring up all the trash, as you know, during elective, and this is going wild. You know what I've seen back and forth between the two of them. Both of them. They're being disrespectful towards both of them. There's no sort of respect whenever you hear, for example, Kamala talk about Trump and Trump talk about Kamala. So again, it goes vice versa.
Yeah, Trump is not worthy of respect, my man. If you knew of somebody that commits crimes, assaults women, commits business fraud, has been indicted for a bunch of crimes, you probably wouldn't respect them either. And so I don't respect Donald Trump. I don't think you should either.
Yeah, you see, that's another thing. I was in Asia. I was in Asia for years, and people from around the world, they knew Trump. Trump did business in their countries, and they all had some sort of opinion on him, on how he did his business and how he made his promises. But this is not really the point. The point was if one party is saying, like Timmy, what they call him, touchdown Timmy. Do you believe that's true?
It's touched. What do I believe that Tim Walz coached football? Is that what you're asking me?
You mean the assistant coach where he was where he brought some student to a gay club?
God, holy shit, no, that's obviously not true.
This is real.
Dude, you need to do more research. I'm not like I can't even entertain what you're saying right now because this is just so objectively false. And it's weird that of all things you come up here and talk about, you bring up just like garbage. Like none of this is true. Right? You're not saying, hey, I disagree with Kamala Harris's tax policy or her foreign policy or whatever that. You're saying, well, I believe lies about Tim Walz and I believe lies about Kamala Harris. No. Buddy, you're on your phone right now.
I'm going to their I'm going against their character. I'm going.
Yeah. And you're even if you're, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about character or policy right now. You have a phone in your hand. Use it. Oh, look up. Did Tim Walz do X, Y, and Z? There are fact checks on this everywhere. Did Kamala Harris do X, Y, and Z? Fact checks on this everywhere. Just fact check yourself.
I did.
You don't have to come up in a lie. No, you did not.
I did. I looked it up in the.
No, you did not.
I saw some videos where they said.
I would bet my entire life. I'd bet my life savings. I'd bet the house on the fact that you did not fact check yourself. And also, by the way, just looking up like videos online is not fact checking.
That's right. That's correct.
So go fact check.
Yeah. Do you think Kamala's going to give reparations to blacks? You
have a good rest of your night. I mean, I can't even the people like that are absolutely insufferable. Absolutely insufferable. It's absolutely insufferable. I mean, what? Jeez Louise, man. Skylar, thank you for the $1. I appreciate you. Levette, thank you for the $23.19. It's Maxwell. Thank you for being a voice of reason. Yo, Maxwell, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. That's incredibly kind. I appreciate you a lot. I hope you're doing well. That's very generous. Sommer, I love the name Sommer. You're a literal saint. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate that a lot. I mean, we're trying over here, man. We're trying. It's God, some of these people, man. Some of these folks. I always get asked that question, like, how do you keep your patience? How do you stay sane? And often I don't. Sorry, the lighting's being weird. Often I don't keep my patience because they're just so annoying. But yeah. All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up and we can talk. Look at this person saying, hypocrite Harry, I got to get her up here. MAGA's so desperate they're making up lies about our 47th president. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new, though, unfortunately. Nothing new. Lily Allen, let's give her an invite. She's not requesting up. Let's give Doc. Oh, here comes Doc's not. Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Also drop a follow, of course, if you haven't already. Hello?
Hey, Harry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. Hey, I respect all your knowledge, everything. I've been following you for a long time.
Thank you.
However, I am a Trump supporter. I'm in Arizona. Just a couple things. Came on tonight. I came on right when you first came on. I was in when you came on. Seemed a little concerned about the vote at this time. Now, just a couple things that I've heard you say and so forth in backing up Harris. You're backing up Harris with all these things. You talk about all the lies Trump tells and so forth. I don't know how you can back or say these kind of things when you have somebody that's doing the same thing. You've been told this before.
Can you mute the TV in the background by any chance?
Oh, I do. Let me turn it down. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
My apologies.
That's okay.
Yeah, so, when one of them's lying and then the other one lies, it's one of the same. I mean, you can't sit there and call Trump on all this. It is.
No, it's not at all. I mean, because again, like if you, I've never claimed that Kamala Harris has never lied, but I think you and I would both agree that if somebody lies like 1,000 times in 4 years as president, And if somebody lies 30,000 times in 4 years as president, that's a big difference. It's a big difference. It's a very big difference. And so that's what I'm pointing out, that, you, me, and everybody have lied in our lives. Nobody is perfect. But the point is that what is somebody lying about? How often are they lying? How egregious are their lies? I think that is a deciding factor in is this person a pathological liar or are they not?
And I respect that answer. However, the same thing, I mean, to myself, I see a liar, like you say, we've all told a white lie here and there or whatever. They're both lying on each other.
Come on. I mean,
they both
yeah,
are.
but that's like saying, two people who commit different crimes should be condemned the same, even if that one person who committed a crime was littering and that one person who committed a crime was killing somebody. It's like, well, if you just group them in they both committed a crime, they're both bad. It's like, hold on a second. Let's talk about specifics. Like this person, committed a petty crime. It's nothing major. And this person took the life of somebody. Right. So we can't just put them on an even scale and just say, they both did this.
And I'm not comparing apples to oranges. I'm not doing that, like you're doing there. Now, let's talk the immigration. I live 20 miles from the border. Yeah. Okay. I see people coming through the border all the time, way more than I did under Trump. Okay. Now you're talking about what did Kamala Harris do for the border? Absolutely nothing, except when Biden signed an executive order overturning everything Trump was trying to do for the border. And I know your script on it. You're saying, well, there's more people there's less people that's crossed. You used to say, I don't know where you stand now, is that there's less people that's crossed the border than under Kamala Harris and Biden, okay, versus what was under Trump. That is a total stone-faced lie. I mean,
that's not what I said.
I'm sorry?
That's not what I said.
Well, you have said it in the past.
No, what I said was that right now there's more. What I said is that right now there's actually less border crossings or encounters of the border generally than there were under Donald Trump in 2021 when he left office, which is true.
Okay. Well, there's a great thing coming up right now because there's another caravan coming to the border, and it's so scripted.
There's always a caravan coming to the border right before the election.
Well, we see this one's very soon, and it's perfectly
just like the one in 2020, and just like the one in 2016, and 2012, and 2008, and 2004, and 2000. There's always a caravan coming to the border for sure.
Okay, very good, and this one's perfectly timed. Like I say, it'll be very good for Kamala to use it in her favor.
Why would that use
we're going to stop them. Well, we're going to stop them. They'll stop them. First time they've done that under their excuse me, I lost my train of thought. Under their leadership.
Well, that's actually not true.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
That's not true. I mean, we've had hundreds of thousands of deportations under Biden-Harris, and when you look at the removal percentages, Biden and Harris actually removed a higher percentage of people than Donald Trump did. So obviously people are not,
because there was a higher percentage of people coming in.
No, but it's factored in for population. So obviously, if you have 1 million people coming in versus 500,000 people coming in 2 different years, you're not going to compare the numbers because they're different. So you do as a percentage of population, and as a percentage of population, Biden and Harris have removed a higher percentage than Donald Trump, which still speaks to the fact that your theory of, if you just come through and come to the border, they'll let you in, is obviously not true.
Oh, they're coming through by the thousands, Harry. Like I said, I live in land. I have land where they come through, and they come right through my property.
And if you believe that,
go ahead. I've seen so much more under this administration than I've ever seen in my entire 60 years here in Arizona. So we've been red all along. We've been red all this time up until this last election. I'm not sure how old you are. Like I said, I respect your intelligence. I respect, your knowledge and all that kind of stuff. But I can tell you, people vote on how the economy, how the things are affecting them now. They're not deep into the politics that you're into, Parker's into, Dean's into. They're not looking at all that realistically. They're looking at what's going on in the world, what's happening now, and what they see visually. Versus, I know you guys' famous question is name 5 policies that Trump passed and whatever, your scripts are so equal, I can almost predict everything you're going to say to whatever your guest is saying. Okay. I mean, it's so scripted. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's, can you do it?
Can I do what?
Can you name 5
Name the
policies of
5?
Trump?
No, and I will admit that. But I'm looking
So that's
on
the
what's
point.
going
It's
on.
like,
But it
here's the
doesn't
thing.
matter. I see what's going on and how this world's affecting me now.
Yeah, but you have to be asking why. Like you're bringing up like, oh, people vote on the economy, people vote on immigration. It's like, okay,
Yes,
yeah, and you're saying
I
that things
agree.
are bad right now and people are voting on what they see right now, and you're like, and maybe you think that they're bad right now. Okay, why? Like, did Biden and Harris cause that, or are there some things that are out of the president's control that cause that? Now, I want to go back to what you just said about the border, saying, I see it in Arizona. You are a border state. I see it. They're coming through my property. Whether that's true or not, obviously, we can't fact check that. We'll take your word for it.
Right.
But if that's the case, then why did Donald Trump block the bipartisan immigration bill, which I'm sure you've heard of before, for political reasons? And if this is an issue that you care about, why would you then vote for the guy who blocked reform?
Well, he did it on his. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Exactly.
But
So maybe you shouldn't be voting for people who sink policy that would address your needs. You're saying
but
that
they
like
won't.
if we have people in politics who play politics and reject policy for their personal belief, then they should be rewarded. My view, and I think any rational person's view, is that if somebody plays politics with needed reform, then they should not be rewarded for that behavior. Instead, politicians who are willing to work together, regardless of the political benefit, those people should be rewarded. I mean, that's what you're describing right now is how we get a dysfunctional country where Congress and the presidency doesn't work for the people, but instead works for themselves. You're saying let's reward bad behavior. I'm saying let's not.
No, let's not. Let's not reward.
So
bad
don't vote for
behavior.
Trump.
Well, no, there's no question. I'm 100% Trump, no doubt about it.
I hear that you're
but what I'm
100%.
trying to say- but what I'm trying to say to you is, there's nobody. It's crazy because people are not gonna. They're not gonna sit there. Why did Trump reform? Vote for. He's the one that knocked it down. I hear you guys say that all the time. It would have been fine if Trump would have voted. He's the one that knocked it down. Well, let me tell you something. Nobody even knows that. Okay, I'm not the only one.
Okay, but wait, we're not talking about. The conversation we're having is not whether people know that or not, right? The defense of Trump can't be, well, people aren't in the weeds of policy, so they're going to vote based on this. It should be, well, people should know about this stuff. And when we're talking about the actual facts and get into the weeds of this stuff, Donald Trump loses every single time. He's terrible on every single issue, and especially on this one. You cited immigration as a big issue for you, and I understand that you're in a border state, so you have more of a perspective in terms of that being an issue for you than somebody else. But the point is that you shouldn't vote for somebody who blocks reform on issues you care about. That makes no sense.
Well, he's gonna block the border. I know that.
Okay, but why didn't he do that his first term?
Well, he started the wall and he started everything to block the border. And then Biden, on his first day of office, signed 29 executive orders, knocking everything. He just undid everything Trump did.
Well, he undid things that Trump did that were really bad, like family separation, which was good. Getting rid of that is a good thing. But also stopping construction of the border wall makes sense. It's like there's already a fence at the border. There already is something there. That's why when we talk about Trump's border wall, he reinforced 400 miles of already existing wall. 400 miles of already existing wall.
There's so many spots they can walk
and
across
built
the real
50
ground.
miles. He only built 50 miles of new wall. So you're voting for somebody who not only blocks policy of which would help you, but you're also voting for somebody who makes empty promises and fails to make those promises. Where's Mexico paying for the wall? Because last time I checked, the money that funded that wall came from the military. So we became less secure in terms of funding in the military so that Donald Trump could have his little project, and Mexico never paid a peso for that wall.
And I have to believe you on that. I don't know who paid what.
We did.
Well, I'm sure we did. I'm sure taxes and all that, whatever it is. But like I say, and then I love your argument about where, we left all this war, we left these aircraft and everything over in Afghanistan. And your comeback with that is, it was old stuff. It's stuff we don't need. And
that's not my comeback.
Stuff. It's always been your comeback.
No, that's not my comeback.
Stuff that, you've always said that. You've always said, it was old stuff. It was.
You might be confusing me with somebody else because that's not. First of all, that's not even the truth. That's not the fact. It's like, yeah, a lot of it was old stuff, but we didn't actually leave anything behind. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who was appointed under Donald Trump. Yeah, no, that's the most. It's such a common misconception, which is so annoying about the Afghanistan conversation is that we didn't leave anything behind. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, along with the Department of Defense and the Pentagon, confirmed this, saying that anything that was left behind was not American equipment. It was Afghanistan-owned equipment. This was owned by the military and the government at the time that ruled Afghanistan, not the Taliban, of course, at the time. It was their equipment that we had given to them over a period of 20 years. But also, any equipment that was American-owned, we either destroyed on-site or took back with us. And this is, again, you don't have to take my word for it. This came from the Department of Defense themselves.
Right. Okay. Well, I disagree with it. I don't take your word for it.
You want me to prove it to you?
Well, I
No,
like I
fact.
said,
Let's
I
do it.
respect
Let's
your
do it.
intelligence. Go ahead.
Did
But-
the U.S. leave
And there's so many
equipment?
other little things that you're doing in your moments with your shorts that you do, like
shorts.
trying to prove that, Donald Trump didn't work. It was all staged at McDonald's. That's I think your latest one. Well, of course it was staged. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but that's the entire point. It's like Trump has to go stage an appearance at McDonald's to try to convince people that he's a working man. Whereas like Kamala Harris, people like Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and
in the world.
yeah, he grew up with a silver spoon. Donald Trump has never ever known struggle, and he
That's
wants
what we
you.
need.
And he wants
need
you
a
and the
businessman
American
in
people to
there. We
think
don't
that
need a
somehow he's
politician.
going to make your lives better. He's going to cut taxes for you. Now listen to this. The U.S. gave a total of $18.6 billion of equipment to the Afghanistan National Defense and Security Forces, ANDSF, from 2005 to August 2021, according to the report. Of that total equipment, worth $7.12 billion remained in Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal completed on August 30th, 2021. It included aircraft, air-to-ground munitions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Department of Defense was required to submit a report to Congress. And in this, they said, quote, the $7.12 billion figure cited in the department's recent report to Congress corresponds to ANDSF equipment and not U.S. military equipment used by our forces. Army Major Rob Lodwick, a Defense Department spokesperson, said in a statement, nearly all equipment used by military forces in Afghanistan was either retrograded or destroyed prior to our withdrawal and is not part of the $7.12 billion figure cited in the report.
Right.
So that's from the Department of Defense. I just wanted to further prove that to you.
Right. Well, I understand that. And it said, and then what you said was the equipment that was left behind. Some of it was theirs. Most of it was ours.
No,
Destroyed.
I didn't say that at all. That's not what I said. Again, I'll read it to you, just the first sentence. The 7.12, and this is from the Defense Department spokesperson. The 7.12 billion figure cited in the department's recent report to Congress corresponds to ANDSF equipment and not U.S. military equipment used by our forces. And ANDSF again stands for Afghan National Defense and Security Forces.
By our forces, not used by our forces, but our equipment we left
Correct.
over there. Destroyed.
But again, it
and
was not
stuff like
American-owned equipment. This was equipment we gave to them that was owned by Afghanistan. If you give something to somebody, you can't just then say, "Oh, it's ours now."
It's no longer
when you want
ours.
to.
Okay, it's no longer ours.
Correct.
That we gave it to them, right? So whatever, we gave it to them then. Okay, whatever. but
It's not whatever, because Trump lies. It's not whatever. Trump lies about this all the time and says that we left $80 billion worth of equipment behind. That's the point, right? It's like you might agree with Donald Trump on.
He exaggerated his numbers.
Okay. But exaggerating is lying, right? He just lies. He lies to you. He lies to me. He lies to this entire country. And the thing is, you might think on face value that, hold on, you might think on face value that you agree with Donald Trump. Maybe you're more conservative. And if you are more conservative, fundamentally, that's okay. But what's not conservative and what's not American is voting for a liar. What's not conservative, not American, is voting for somebody who blocks progress on a policy or an issue that you care about. What's not conservative and not American is rewarding bad behavior such as lying or playing politics. All I'm asking you to do as a Gen Z 22-year-old American is put the country first. Put the country before your party affiliation and say, you know what, lying and exaggerating for political benefit and blocking policy for political benefit is wrong. And I'm not asking you to love Kamala Harris. I'm not asking you to love Joe Biden. I'm just asking you to love American democracy at the end of the day. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, I live in a republic and I serve my country.
And that's great.
Okay. And what I'm saying is that if you're telling me like that, voting for a liar's a liar to me. Okay. Kamala Harris lies. Trump lies. I mean, this is the worst ticket I've ever seen in my 65 years of living. Okay, this is the worst ticket I've ever seen in my life.
Some people
Kamala wasn't even brought in with a primary. She was told by the president,
Please.
okay, I nominate her.
Spare me the democracy talk. We can talk about that as well. But let's talk about, you just brought up your military service, which, by the way, thank you for your service. That's something all Americans can agree on. Not only did Biden and Harris...
Kids your age should be in the military, should have to serve 2 years at least. so they can get a little sense in their head. And
Well, I
grow
disagree
up.
with that. I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well,
But aside from that,
there's a lot of countries that require that, and I've seen it. I've served in those countries, and
I 100%. There's a lot of countries that require that.
yes,
But
we should be one of them.
okay. So not only did Biden and Harris pass the largest expansion of veterans health care in years, now 1.2 million people have signed up for the PACT Act, but also like people who have served, who Donald Trump appointed, are pointing out how bad he is. His former chief of staff,
know why? 'Cause he
four-star
fired
General
them
John,
because they weren't doing their job.
four-star General John Kelly, who served for decades in the military, lost his son in military combat. A Republican through and through, has been a conservative all of his life, was appointed by Donald Trump to be chief of staff, has come out publicly on audio talking about how Donald Trump praised the generals of World War II, asking for his generals to be more like them and calling him a fascist. So did Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, I should say, Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, who's also dedicated his life to public service and the military. These are people who saw Donald Trump serve firsthand. Are you comfortable voting for somebody who's been identified by former military officials, former members of Trump's cabinet as a fascist?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with voting for Trump. I am, because that's my only choice. I mean, really,
But it's
like
not.
I say, our choices. It is our choices. Those two people standing right behind you, those two faces behind you. That's the worst ticket in U.S. history. There's no question. And like I say, you came on today.
Let's go back a couple hundred years. I mean, come on.
This is all over because you're not sure right now either, and you know it's that close. But like I say,
I definitely
I'm
think the
tired of
election's
getting
close.
all this political stuff in there. I need somebody in there. I need Ron the Cable Man. You know, somebody in there that fucking can, that's a human, that's not all into this politics. We're tired of all this bullshit and being ran by the government. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, like I say, you studied it. You're all into it. I respect all that. But we need somebody in there to go in there and do a job. And like I say, he fired all these people for one reason. They weren't doing their job, so he got rid of them.
What? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Do you think that they really weren't doing their jobs, or do you think that they weren't doing the bidding of Donald Trump? When 40 out of your 44 former cabinet officials and administration officials are not voting for you, do you think that's representative of people who are just like, you know what, I just want to hurt the Republican Party? Or maybe these people are lifelong Republicans and they know how dangerous Donald Trump is. When was the last time a vice president didn't endorse the person they served under?
Well, there was a primary
Never.
for that person, right?
Never. Well, it doesn't matter if there's a primary. Point is that even if a party nominates somebody, just because a
Kamala
party
has done
nominated somebody
nothing
doesn't
in
mean that they're
2.5
worthy of your
years.
votes.
Doesn't the vice president go to the president, and if she sees something or he sees something, and say something to them and say, hey, this may not be working? I mean, I know the president doesn't make all the decisions. I realize that. They don't. But if you got Kamala Harris, she didn't do, what makes you think for 3.5 years she did absolutely nothing? Okay, what makes
that's
you
not
think
true. I mean,
she's going to change the world in 3.5 more years? She has no clue.
Okay.
She has
So
no
that's not
clue.
actually true. She did a bunch of things as vice president. One of the main things that a lot of people disregard
here's
as
the
Kamala
vote.
Harris as vice president is securing over $5 billion from 50 different private companies for investment in triangle countries to invest in these
That made a
countries, build up
difference in
their
my
economies,
life.
prevent or de-incentivize immigration from those countries to the United States. This is some work that the vice president has never done before. She was also the most active VP in terms of casting the most tie-breaking votes in American history on a lot of great policy and a lot of great judges, for example. So she's been very active, but the fact of the matter is that Kamala Harris had a career. One sec. Kamala Harris had a career before being vice president. Obviously, she was senator, attorney general, district attorney, and all of these positions. She did a lot of great work, and she continues that great work now as vice president and hopefully president. And she is the prosecutor in this race. She is the rule of law candidate in this race. She cares about our law enforcement and the people that work in law enforcement. Donald Trump is the criminal, is the guy who's called for defunding law enforcement,
Well,
is the
she
guy who
changed
watched police
her
officers
mind.
get beat on January 6th.
So she changed her mind.
I think politicians
Such a
should change their minds.
She's
I think
a
it's good.
flip-flopper. Of course, it's good because that's who you're voting for.
No. I think that politicians generally
It's
should.
not okay for Trump to do those.
No, I
things.
think that Trump should change his mind on a lot of things. I think
I'm
he should
sorry?
change his mind. I think that Parker should change. Or sorry, I'm reading the chat. Sorry, people are saying rip Parker because he got banned. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully Parker's live gets back up, folks. But if you're coming over, welcome, and I'll let you know if I see his account go live. I'll inform you guys. But
I hope
aside
Parker
from that,
comes back up. I like Parker as well.
yeah, he's good. What was I saying? Well, I just forgot my train of thought.
You're
What was
talking
I
about
saying?
flip flopping and so.
Oh,
forth.
yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, I actually think that politicians should be able to change their minds. I don't think that should be condemned. I think if a politician is on the wrong side of an issue and they're informed and they get better information to change their view, I actually think that's a good thing. And that's what Kamala Harris has done.
Exactly, and I think it's good too. But she's doing it in reference to an election. I mean, she's
disagree.
doing this well, you can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But like I said, that's when she's doing all this flip flopping. All of a sudden, it's and well, primarily to me, it looks bad. It looks terrible, and then everybody I know, and hopefully,
I mean, my
Arizona-
God, I just like it's crazy to me when I hear stuff like that, like, oh, Kamala Harris, changed her view on something, and that makes her look bad. Like, you're trying to put Kamala Harris changing her mind on policy on the same level as Trump, who's assaulted women and committed crimes. It's like Trump is all the way up here in terms of bad things, and Kamala Harris is all the way down. You can't even see her on the screen. I mean, she's so far down in terms of bad things that she's done, or things you would describe as bad. So it's like, you stop holding them to the same standard. They're not equally as bad. And you say this is the worst ticket in American history, like having these two. It's not. You have a really competent person who, if she was a Republican, she worked her way up through Attorney General's office, District Attorney office, Senator, and Vice President. You'd be like, oh my God, she's great. She's so qualified. But because she's a Democrat, you say, oh, well, it's the worst ticket in American history. Come on.
The Democrat, Republican, Independent, all that stuff, throw that out the window, because I actually vote the way I see it. I'm a registered Democrat. Okay, I am. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dennis DeConcini, probably way before your time, the DeConcinis and so forth, and probably didn't think you had. Like I said, I'm a registered Democrat. I am. But I tell you, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for who I think is going to do the best job. Kamala Harris, she's Attorney General. She's this, that. Yeah, transgender in jails and all that other stuff. And
that's what Trump also funded that.
Let them all go. Let them all go, and let them all. Let's.
Well, did
let's
you
have
know that?
Venezuela. What's that?
Did you know that Trump and his administration also funded gender affirming care for trans people in prison?
I didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah,
know.
there's an entire New York Times article on it, because the law states that they must. If a doctor deems that a transgender inmate is, it's medically necessary for them to get a gender affirming care, the state has to provide it for them, because if they don't, that would violate the cruel and unusual punishment part of the Constitution. So this is something that both the Trump administration and, of course, states around the country actually have to follow, because it would be unconstitutional if they didn't.
I'm probably not the first one that's ever heard that, but
yeah, well, the New York Times just wrote an article about it the other day, and has like all the sourcing. I would encourage you to look it up.
Okay, yeah, and I will. And like I say, I've learned a lot from you. I've heard a lot from you. But after this has been going on so long, and listen to you, listen to Parker, listen to Dean, it's all so scripted now. I mean, I can almost predict your answers when anybody asks anything. It's getting, it's even to the point it looks bad. But
2 + 2 is always going to equal 4. So if you say why is Trump bad, it's always going to be that he tried to overturn an election he didn't win. He's a criminal. He assaults women.
Right.
That's never going to change.
Civil suit and all this. Y'all make it. Some of you say criminal. It's not criminal. It's civil. That'll be overturned. That'll be thrown away.
It's not going to be overturned.
About it. Yes, it will.
No, there's no reason to believe that. It might. In terms of like the civil fraud case with the business fraud, the sum likely is going to get reduced. I think. I'm not a legal expert, obviously, but that's just what a lot of legal experts are saying, both left and right. So the sum is likely to get reduced, but it won't be overturned. I mean, Trump obviously committed a bunch of business fraud. That's not up for debate.
Agreed. But it will be lessened, I'm sure.
How do you disagree with that and vote for him? I don't. This is like, it's just like the overlooking of all of Trump's flaws is crazy to me. It's just like, what can Trump do to lose your vote? He commits crimes. He assaults women. He commits a bunch of business fraud. You acknowledge it. He tries to overturn an election he didn't win. What can Trump do to actually lose your vote?
Nothing. I mean, right now with what's running right now, with the candidates we have right now, nothing. Because I mean, Harris, I don't believe she's taking all the orders from, just like Biden. I mean, Biden was never fit to be president anyway. Okay, his wife should be in jail for elderly abuse.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
So
just to be clear, Hannibal Lecter.
And you were told straight up, like I say, and you still thought that he was still fit.
I think he's still fit now.
There's no way possible.
Well, just to be clear, there's one candidate in this race, and that has
Yes.
been in presidential politics in recent years, that rants about Hannibal Lecter isn't able to identify their own ex-wife in a photo, has said we're going into World War II, said that Obama is still president, and
more like World
none
War
of those
III.
people were Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. So
No, exactly, and he's probably right. I certainly believe there probably will be a civil war at one point.
What?
And yeah, this world's flipped. It's flipped, and like I say, if Kamala's in there, we're gonna lose our tail because there's nobody that respects her. Our Putin, Xi, all them guys are laughing at this whole thing. They're laughing at us right now.
you know that Donald
We
Trump's
are the-
own
we are the-
former national security advisor John Bolton said that Trump got laughed at by these leaders, the ones you literally just mentioned.
And John Bolton he got laughed at, but I'll tell you what, they respect him.
Really? Is
Yeah,
that why like
sure.
Russia still interferes in our elections?
Well, I firmly believe they may have.
Well,
You know?
I mean, you could. That's what the FBI concluded. That's also the
But I
in the
didn't
Mueller report. They also talked about how Donald Trump obstructed justice in the investigation into it. We're trying to investigate Russian interference in our elections, and Trump obstructs justice. And folks like yourself vote for him anyway. He can do no wrong. Trump was right with folks like yourself, and I'm saying this in the most respectful way. Trump was right when it comes to folks like you that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Ave and he wouldn't lose votes. He wouldn't lose your vote if he did that. He can
Depends on
obstruct
the reason
justice. He
they
can
shot
commit
him.
crimes. He can assault women.
Well, you say assault. That E.G. Carroll, if that's what you're referring to, that was a political stunt as well. That happened 19 years ago. And now she's bringing it up all of a sudden during an election year.
She actually
Why
brought
didn't
it up
she
in
bring
2019.
19 years ago. She has
No.
a spot on her dress. Why didn't he give up his semen? And all this
Why
other
didn't he?
crap.
Why didn't
Crap.
he?
Why didn't he? Why?
Why
would he?
didn't if his DNA also wasn't male? How do I say it on TikTok friendly? It wasn't male stuff on the dress. It was just
Right.
male DNA. So if he was nowhere near her, didn't touch her, it wasn't near the dress, why wouldn't he give his DNA up?
Well, how can you say it's his?
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that
All right.
given
He doesn't have
the
to,
circumstances,
Harry.
given
He doesn't
just
have to. In the
you're
court of
right,
law-
100%. I totally agree. Doesn't have to. He also can't be compelled to in a civil case. But
Right.
if he could exonerate himself 100%, or at least give his side a really good argument when it comes to a defense, why wouldn't you? Any good defense lawyer will tell you that if you're certain that's not your DNA, give your
Okay.
DNA over, get it tested. And if they're not certain that it's not your DNA, don't give it over.
Well, that kind of makes sense the way you say it, but it's like this. Obviously, you've never had any been in court or anything. You don't ever, you go in there, they have to prove their point. Number one is all preponderance of the evidence. It may have happened, it may not have happened. But like I say, with this Carol case, why didn't she come forward? And I know your answer already because it's been said so many times. Why didn't she come forward earlier with this? Why didn't she come 18 years ago? Why didn't she come 15 years ago? Why didn't she come 10 years ago? Well, some people, go ahead and give me your answer. I already know it, so you don't even have to tell me.
I'll give you my answer regardless. First of all,
ahead.
she didn't come forward in an election year. She wrote this in her book in 2019. So she's not trying to sink Trump's campaign right now. And also,
she
this
is
trial
indeed.
the trial that happened most recently could have happened a lot earlier. The two trials could have happened a lot earlier if Donald Trump didn't try to delay it at every point. So you can't claim victim if Donald Trump's the one delaying the trial. And you also can't claim victim if he's the one defaming her and assaulting her. It's like
He didn't delay it
it's
19
crazy to
years,
me.
Harry.
It's crazy to me that you go after E. Jean Carroll, the person who was assaulted, and not the person who assaulted her, not the person
Like
who
I said, I
lied
knew
about
your
her.
answer to that,
And
and
now
I
you're
knew you were
asking,
gonna say that.
hold on. You're asking, why didn't she come forward earlier? A lot of women don't. There are a lot of
I knew
women
you
who
were gonna
still
say
have
that.
not. Hold on. There are a lot of women who have still not come forward about people like Harvey Weinstein, very powerful people in very powerful positions in their industries, or
Well,
just
let's
powerful
talk
people,
Diddy.
rich people they run into generally, and they never come forward, or they don't come forward for a long time, or they don't come forward until they see other people coming forward. There's a lot of women who still they're still traumatized by the attack. They're still very upset by the attack.
Right.
And I don't think that going after the women saying, well, why didn't you come forward earlier is the right move. We should.
Well, I understand, Harry, and I knew that was your answer. We can talk Diddy right now. Look at all the people that are being complicit right now. Okay? I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah,
like I
sure.
said, she could. What's that?
I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but like I say, number one, like I say, I'm sickened by the whole country. Like I say, this is the worst. This is the worst as far as candidates go. I mean, there's no other choice but Trump. I'm really sorry to say that. And I hope Arizona, and it looks like so far, hopefully, I haven't talked to very many Biden folks. I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, and hopefully it just holds true and we turn red again. We've never been blue in our life. My lifetime, we've never been blue. And
Well, you guys were blue. You have a Democratic governor. You voted for Biden last time.
Well, this is the last time. That's what I'm saying. This is the first time we've ever been blue. Is what I'm saying.
Well, hopefully you're wrong. I know a lot of folks in Arizona who will cancel out your vote, thankfully. But we can agree to disagree.
One or the other.
There you go. Vice versa, right?
Harry, like I say, I respect you. I enjoy listening to you. You haven't convinced me yet, and I don't think you will. I think some of the stuff you come up with is totally insane. I love your trails or your trailers. I would love to see you debate somebody that has a little more into politics than I know, such as the Gasp guy, whoever he is, the millennial. I would love to see you guys go at it. Like I say, these guys will probably eat your lunch, but anyway, I would give you the respect for doing it.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
You have the balls of a dude. I mean, I've seen you on Pierce, and you tried to hang in there with him, but when I was watching it with my crowd, he totally made an ass out of you. So I just hope you hang in there. And like I say, you look a little more nervous. You came on a little nervous tonight. You're really not sure. You'll probably be happy when it's over with. But like I say, I don't. You work hard at this, and I just hope you're wrong. And like I say,
and I hope you're wrong too.
I know you do. We can both agree to that. Well, thank you for having me on, dude. Have a great evening.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Interesting way to say goodbye. Sarah, thank you for the $5. My husband and I enjoy learning from you and combat all the red in Kentucky. Keep working out there. You got a great governor in Kentucky. I appreciate you. And Bradley. Oh my God, Bradley. Thank you. Wow. This is crazy. $250 on Venmo from Bradley. That is crazy. My man, I appreciate that so much. Can we please get some W's from Bradley in the chat? $250? Are you kidding me? That is crazy. He says, Harry, since MAGA seems to think you're paid by the DNC, here's another $250 salary for all your efforts. Your message is so important, and that's why I keep funding your show. I've already voted for early for Kamala Harris. Vote early if you can. Harris Walls 2024. Bradley, thank you so much. Number one, for the $250, but also number two, for voting early for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That is so incredibly generous. Please, I need the entire chat filled with W's. The entire chat filled with W's for Bradley. $250 is so times a million generous. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're amazing. And thank you again for being here, Bradley. You're always here supporting the live. It means a lot, man. It means a lot. And Rosie, thank you for the $5. Thanks for defending us SA survivors. Yeah, I mean, we try. But Bradley, my man, thank you so much. That is incredibly kind, incredibly generous. I appreciate you. I hope you know that. Goes a long way. So look, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. It's good. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. Yeah, if you're MAGA, let me know. By the way, Parker's back live, everybody. He's live on Parker Get a Job. So just as a heads up, I told you that I would, of course, let you know when he got back up. So I'm glad to see that he is back and live. Natalie is saying she's MAGA. Let's bring her up, see what she has to say. Natalie, hello.
Hey, what's going on, Harry? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you handling the stress of being a moderator and a, up and coming person as yourself?
It's great. It's never been better. Never felt better.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
So
you
why?
You want to control the conversation, or do you want me to? Let's do this. Let's do this in a nice, civilized way, because the last thing I want to do is, get into some kind of narrative where we control or you control. Let's just be even keel. If you have questions for me, I think that's fair. So I want to just start there. Let's let out some normal playing. You know what I mean?
Okay, why you MAGA?
I'll tell you this. The main reason at this point is that people across the nation don't know that over 25,000 people are dead and missing in Western North Carolina.
What?
And this is my question to you, I guess, in a way, is that Trump was in North Carolina just a couple days ago. Okay, just hear me out. If you're not aware of this, an area in North Carolina was hit extremely bad, and there's no reporting about this, okay? But conclusive to plans that the administration, that of Mrs. Harris and Mr. Biden, put into play, if you look and research, the NOAA operates the biggest fucking weather climate database in the history of global data. Okay? Just one. Research it. Pull it up right now. Source and fact check it. Fact check it. Okay? Just hear me out. Put it in your search engine and look up the NOAA base in Asheville.
No, I'm
okay?
like, I know the NOAA does a lot with.
The reason why I am pro MAGA at this point is because there is a huge, crazy emergency going on with 20,000+ people dead.
Where'd you get that number?
The number is from the source that I have from the Resilience Plan 1, which was approved in 2018. Secondly, it was signed off by the governor, Mr. Cooper, and the administration of that would be Biden.
Wait, where?
Look it
Can
up.
you just give me
It's
like
the
an article or
Resilience
something?
Plan. No, I'm not. Is NEMAC. Do you know what NEMAC is, bro?
No, I don't know what that
Come
is.
on. Come on. You don't know what NEMAC is?
No, I don't know what that is.
National Environmental Modeling. Come on.
No,
You
I don't know what that is. I don't know
Analysis Center. You don't know what that is. You don't know what NEMAC is.
No,
it's
I don't.
the
I don't
largest
study this
climate data center and analysis. This operation has been going on for quite some time. It
So
was
can
approved
you
in
just like
2018.
pull up
The
the
point
data
I'm
for
trying
us
to
that
make is
20,000 people
that
have died?
the
All I'm
point
asking
that
for
I'm
is a
trying
source.
to tell you in a kind way, sir.
I know,
If you
I know,
will, sir.
I know you're doing a lot of like talking. Let's get to the proving stage of the talking. So
I am proving it if you listen, bro.
yeah.
There's
So do
people
me.
missing, 20,000+ people
I know
missing, and you don't have anything to say for that. Where's Kamala Harris? Here's
said-
my whole point. Donald Trump was actually on the ground, boots on the ground.
Kamala
boots
Harris is
on
also
the
in North
ground.
Carolina. Kamala
Boots,
Harris-
hashtag, everybody. Boots on the ground. If you guys know what's going on,
I don't
listen
even
to
think the
North
Trump
Carolina.
supporters are with you on this one. I
No,
think they're as lost as
I'm
we
not
are.
necessarily saying anything about Trump. Here's what you guys don't
can you
know.
stop talking? Can you stop talking for 5 seconds? So Kamala Harris was also on the ground in North Carolina, but I simply am just asking that number has not been confirmed by anybody
Where?
in any official position. So I'm asking where you got that number.
Where God.
MAGA Mobile, everybody, it's
The number
kicking
that
in.
I've
What a
gotten
terrible
from
thing.
it's from people.
MAGA Mobile.
No, let me just explain this. Okay, I understand. And this fact, it's very interesting because if you look at the 2018 final analysis report, it actually shows you the breakdown per landslide, per residential, per parcels, per commercial infrastructure. This is not something I'm talking about that's absolutely off the wall, because what's so concise about it is the fact that they have numerical data. And I worked in IT prior, so I know how.
Can you pull up something for us here?
Okay, so let me give you guys a picture, okay?
No, I don't want a picture. I just please stop. It's MAGA Mobile hitting. Is MAGA Mobile hitting? It's bad.
Sorry, is that your patience running up, or do you actually have a normal plan? It's okay. So you don't know
So nobody
anything
can hear you
about
right now
this,
because
do
your
you?
Wi-Fi is dog. Nobody
And
can hear
I'm
you.
trying to educate Eastern C, man. Do you know what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
just telling you, your
anything
Wi-Fi
about
is bad.
what
So you're
Data's
like
here,
rate-
guys.
Okay.
Go on.
You good.
It's called NE.
Okay. So it's much. Whoa. Just keep that microphone muted. Now it's much better. That she's quiet now, but this is obviously this is crazy. It's just a simple question of where's the data? She's not bringing up any data. Of course, there's no data that 20,000 people are missing or something of that nature, or dead, or from the hurricane. Yeah, I mean that is what it is. I just don't know what she's talking about. And I don't think anybody does. I don't even know if it's worth continuing this conversation. She came up here I want to be really respectful, and now she's like, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll let you guys decide though. If you want me to continue talking to her, we can try. But I'll leave that up to you guys. Type 1 if you want to continue the conversation. Type 2 if you don't. I'll let you guys decide. 1 if you want the conversation to continue. 2 if you don't. Well, I think the 2s have it. Actually, I think the 2s have it. We'll get her out of there. I don't know what that was all about, guys. Jeez Louise. Morgan, thank you for the $1. Today's my B-Day. Voted blue to celebrate. Morgan, What an amazing birthday. Couldn't think of a better way to celebrate it. Thank you for being here. Sophia, thank you for the $2. Alexia, thank you for the $1. It's me again, your favorite 8 a.m. class haver. Thanks for all that you do, Alexia. I cannot believe you take 8 a.m.s. That's crazy. It's crazy. And Elisa, thank you for the $2. You're my fave of the 3. Also, I tried to come up in your live once and you were like, and Elisa, you're MAGA? No, I'm not. My parents are. I wanted info to debate against. Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, Annalise, I appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. We'll get you back up on live sometime, so maybe we can help you change your parents' minds for sure. Lily, thank you for the $5. Appreciate your hard work. Why don't you guys talk about Katie Johnson? Just because that it's just the lawsuit was eventually dropped, and there's of course that there's some suspicious circumstances around that lawsuit being dropped, but I just don't think it's like one of the strongest points that we can argue from. That's just my personal view. Scott, thank you for the $5. Thanks for what you do. By the way, I don't appreciate being moderated after much support. The one time I asked to engage, shut down. I'm sorry to hear that, Scott. We have some moderators in here. I normally we're pretty good with moderation, but if you did accidentally get unjustly moderated or something like that, I apologize. If you're supporting here, we appreciate you a lot. And the moderators do as well. They're just trying their best to make sure the live is a good place for everybody. Holly, thank you for the $5. Your face changing while she talks was priceless. Yeah, people have said that the face reactions are like noticeable. I never really realize when I'm doing them. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what? But anyway, Jennifer, thank you for the $2.14. It's all I have, but you're effing amazing. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for being here. That's incredibly kind. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Hold on one sec. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I agree regarding Katie Johnson, not a strong position. Yeah, Law of the Wild. I don't know. It's just, I think we have stronger positions to argue from. I think that one overall would end up putting whoever's arguing it into a eventual corner to concede, like, oh, well, we don't really know and stuff like that, That's just my view. There we go. Let's bring up this person.
Hey.
What's up, man? How old are you?
28 or 30.
Okay. Why you MAGA? Why you MAGA?
But I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty. To me, I've been watching a lot of the news, and Harris is just seems like a big liar. I'm a Christian myself, and what she said at that rally to those Christian people was just really sickening to me.
That was not true.
That wasn't true?
Yeah.
Was it like copy pasted or what?
Yeah, so what they were actually saying was that she's a liar. They were Trump supporters. And so she told them to go to Trump's rally because they were Trump supporters.
Because she just said that all they said was Jesus is king.
No, they were saying that she's a liar.
Well, it sounded like they were just saying Jesus is king. And she said go down to the smaller rally down the road. And for her not to show up to that where they debate,
they were chanting like you're a liar, and they were chanting anti-abortion phrases at Kamala Harris. So I don't know why she would let them continue to do that. Do you think that if a Democrat was at Trump's rally and they were screaming at pro-choice stuff to him, do you think that they would just let him do that?
No, but I guess how the media made it seem like she was just throwing him out for being Christian.
She's religious herself. So they were screaming "you're a liar" to her and pro-life stuff. So that's why they were kicked out, not because of their religion. Of course not. But that Trump had a Muslim ban when he was president, Muslim travel ban. So if you're really upset about people being kicked out for their religion or not being let in for their religion, then you wouldn't be surely you wouldn't be voting for Donald Trump, right?
Why is that? He seemed
You were just saying that, these people were chanting religious things at Kamala Harris and they were kicked out, and that made me upset, even though that's not entirely the truth. But with the Muslim travel ban, people were specifically being targeted because of the religion. Trump called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country. I mean, you surely be not voting for Donald Trump based on that same logic, right?
Well, I don't know about that. So
I would encourage you to look it up. There's a video of Trump saying Trump calls for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims coming into the country. That's what he said. So you shouldn't vote for that. I don't support religious discrimination, regardless of if you're a Christian like yourself, or maybe you're a Jewish, a Muslim, whatever you might be. But Donald Trump certainly does.
And another thing, her saying she worked at McDonald's. I mean, I know it might be silly and all, but I mean, they fact checked that and it proved that she was a liar as well.
So I hate to break it to you, man, but there's no fact check saying that she didn't work at McDonald's.
I mean,
she worked at McDonald's when she was like a kid, like when she was like a teenager, or like in college, or when she was a young professional, whatever it might be.
Yeah, but,
as like a lot of people did. I'm sure you don't have every single job you've ever worked or every single internship you've ever had on your resume, like every single person ever. So
if you run a background with your social and you run a background, I mean, the government can see where have you worked.
So the government has not run a background check on Kamala Harris and like given that to fact checkers.
No.
So like Trump just saying that stuff, you shouldn't believe him, man. This is the problem with Trump. This is a problem with one of the big problems in America right now is that people just believe, and I'm not saying you specifically, a lot of people out there just believe like lies about Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or America just generally, and it's very divisive. So you're coming up here and saying a lot of things about Kamala Harris that respectfully just didn't happen. And it's all being fueled by the guy you're voting for. So my simple argument to you is that let's get back to a country where we actually value truth, whether it's coming from a Democrat or Republican. And let's vote for somebody who tells the truth, like Kamala Harris, not somebody that lies relentlessly like Donald Trump. That's all.
I mean, where do you think he's lied at?
Sure. I mean, the election, his businesses, his record, his accomplishments as president, his financials, everything he lies about. Yeah, like any topic you want, and you can pick up any topic you want. He's lied about in politics, like with Biden, Obama, Harris. He said Obama wasn't born in the United States. It's not true. He said that Biden took money from foreign countries and is corrupt. He said that's obviously not true. Donald Trump also said that Kamala Harris turned black. Of course, that is not true. Like he just lies about everybody, everything, and anyone to help himself, and I think that's wrong.
So what do you think about with the drilling for the oil drilling here in America? How do you feel about that?
I'm happy. I love drilling in America. Matter of fact, right now, not sure if you knew this, but we are drilling more than ever before in American history. We are drilling more than any country in the world and drilling more than any administration before him. So Biden right now is drilling more than ever before. And this is via the Energy Information Administration.gov. It's a federal government agency and website.
I thought that they shut down his plan, one of the biggest oil plants or whatever. They shut it down and.
Oh man, no, we're still drilling. President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, they of course believe in renewable energy and moving to a more renewable energy America. But we also believe in fossil fuels and kind of a transition there. We're not going to do it overnight and just click our fingers and going to get there. And investing in both renewable energy and fossil fuels creates more jobs and opens up more opportunity.
Yeah, and I just can't stand this border situation. Letting all these illegal immigrants, like how Donald Trump calls them out, MS-13, all these Venezuelan gangs and just like that. It's just, I don't understand how when he was president, he was trying to fix the border and do all this. And then right when Biden becomes president with Harris, that all of a sudden this border has been out of control. It obviously has to, in my mind, it has to take part with Biden and Harris with this border. She's never even been to the border. I mean, they talked to Border Patrol. I don't know. I just don't see how people could vote for Harris. I know there's media lies and everything like that, and there's well more than we have to look into as people that are going to vote. We have to have a full understanding. That's why I joined this on this situation. But this border is number one. And these I'm a taxpayer and I've seen the taxes and just how the prices of everything has gone out of control. And
so what state are you voting in?
I am Michigan.
And the border is the biggest problem for you?
Huh?
And the border
is.
The border is the biggest problem. Are you talking about the northern border with Canada? You mean you live in Michigan? I just got out of curiosity.
I mean, I'm talking about them just bringing them by planefuls here to America. Okay. I have children, so I'm very protective. I have seen. I don't know if I can't be I can't be racist just because they're Spanish or don't speak English. I can't just say that they're here illegally. You know what I mean? But I have seen a lot more just in the Sault Ste. Marie area of Spanish, Hale, small towns, of a lot more, immigrants, I would say. But I can't say for sure, but I think that's very dangerous for all of them people to be coming over here to America. I think we need to mass deportation.
So
not just everybody, but just.
So I just want to be clear about a couple of things. You said a lot there. You said one of the things I just want to quickly address, it's the quickest thing, is that the Kamala Harris has been to the border. This is a picture of her at the border. She's been to the border multiple times. So that's first and foremost. Second of all, people aren't being flown into the country. That is part of a humanitarian parole program, which is actually a legal form of migration. And I just wanted to read you a quick portion of this Associated Press article that talks about this. Migrants are not being flown into the United States randomly. Under a Biden policy in effect since January 2023, up to 30,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela can enter the country monthly if they apply online with a financial sponsor and arrive at a specified airport paying their own way. Biden exercised his parole authority, which under a 1952 law allows him to admit people only on a case-by-case basis for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. So they are actually entering the country legally, and when they do this and when they enter into this program, they're being vetted, and they come in and work for around 2 years, and then they can apply for a further stay in the United States, or they are removed from the country. So that's second of all. And third of all, you're saying, the border is a big problem. Well, Kamala Harris agrees. She and the Biden administration tried to pass a bipartisan border that was written, border bill that was written by Democrats and Republicans. And it includes some of the strictest measures we've seen regarding immigration in decades, like giving billions to Border Patrol, allowing the president to shut down the border if it's being overwhelmed, rewriting asylum laws, all of this stuff. That bill was killed by Donald Trump. He called up his buddies in Congress, told them to vote against it, and even admitted to this, saying, if the bill fails, please blame me. He said that at a rally, please blame me. So if you care about immigration, you care about reform, I'd vote for the person, a.k.a. Kamala Harris, who's trying to work with the other side to get immigration reform done, not Donald Trump, who is, blocking this reform for political benefit.
So you say that Trump has the, I don't see how. So he stated that if the bill passes or if the bill fails, to blame him for it.
Correct. I can actually. Do you want me to pull up the exact quote for you?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I got you. For sure.
I appreciate you, man.
Let me see if I can. Okay, so he said, quote, as the leader of our party, there is zero chance I will support this horrible open borders betrayal of America. Keep in mind, this border bill was written by Democrats and a Republican senator who he endorsed, Senator James Lankford. He then went on to say, quote, I'll fight it all the way. A lot of the senators are trying to say respectfully, they're blaming it on me. I say, that's okay. Please blame it on me. Please. That's what Donald Trump said. And this is from a Hill article called Trump says, quote, blame it on me if border bill fails. It was published in January of 2024.
So you said in the beginning, the open border policy.
Correct.
He's fighting the open border. So I agree with that. I would fight the open border policy.
Yeah, so that's Donald Trump labeling the bill as open border. But of course, the bill did not open the border. Again, this actually gave a lot of concessions to the Republican side and their goals when it came to immigration, not so much for the Democratic side. So this is that's Trump kind of trying to justify him killing the bill, because he's not going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to vote against the bill that secures the border, or tell my buddies to vote against the bill that secures the border. He has to come up with something. And so that's why he said it. And of course, as I mentioned, the bill does not open the border. Matter of fact, it makes it extremely more difficult for people to come into the country.
Okay.
So I would not do not vote for that. Do not vote for a guy who blocks policy that would solve an issue you care about.
All right, I'll be looking into that. Do more research,
Awesome. And your vote matters in Michigan, man. You live in an important state. I don't know where you live in Michigan, but you live in an important state. So, you mentioned you got kids. Think about their future. That's all I ask.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you letting me join, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Thanks. Yeah, man. You live in some of these states. You live in a swing state. Your vote. You really got to think about your vote, man. It's a shame that that's the way the system works, but. Amanda, thank you for the $2. The 20K people are actually still up in the hurricane. They are Trump voters. We will let them out after voting day. That's right. Joe Biden, who controls the hurricanes, will get that done. Austin, thank you for the $10. Look into Ivana's deposition during her divorce with Trump, claimed grape. Yeah, she did do that. That is true. In her deposition, she did do that. Angela, thank you for the $2. What is your plan for the lives after the election? You're amazing, and I enjoy watching and gifting when I have the extra funds. Amanda, I appreciate that so much. That's incredibly kind. I don't know what I'm going to do about the lives after the election. Maybe I've said to people before, maybe we'll just do like Democrat versus Republican lives. And of course, it depends on who wins, but we'll see. I'm kind of like, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Minecraft, thank you for the $5. Hey, what are your thoughts on Biden signing the Willow Project? Heard a lot of controversies about it. Harris Wells 2024. Yeah, so Biden actually had to sign that by law. These were permits that were sold to ConocoPhillips, I believe the country was, before Biden was in office. They were actually sold under the Clinton administration, so they had a legal right to those leases, so he had to sign them. Soren, thank you for the $1. Do you know Charlie Kirk? If so, please debate him and shut him up. The offer is always out there to Charlie Kirk to come in and debate. He has not so far taking the offer. Retired RN, Lois, thank you for the $10. Lots of support. Keep fighting. I appreciate it, Lois. Thank you so much. And Margaret, thank you for the $25 from Maggie Ball. Keep the great work up. I appreciate that, Margaret and Maggie. You guys are amazing. And Retired RN, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the support. It means the world. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support these lives. Also drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 700,000 likes. Just fill that entire bar. When it comes up, and also spam those shares down there. It means the world. All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up and we'll talk. You can tell me why on earth you're MAGA. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Very strange. Very strange. But we'll get somebody up here. We'll get somebody up here. If we're MAGA, yeah. Let's see. With Chris. Oh, I know that guy. He's not MAGA. He always comes up here and trolls, man. I'm MAGA debate, says this guy. Let's give him an invitation. See if he wants to come up. Oh, here comes somebody. One of the people I invited. We'll find out. Oh, here he is. Hello.
What's up?
How old are you?
Good. First time talking to you.
Okay. All right. How old are you?
32.
Okay. All right. Why are you MAGA?
Live in Ohio. I'm a Second Amendment person, and I race cars, so EPA regulations are always a big voting point. Second Amendment and EPA. But,
so that means you vote for a convicted felon? Is that what you're saying?
Most of that shit was bogus, pretty much.
Really? Why do you say that?
Like the fraud stuff that he's getting overturned right now.
Why is it? When has it been overturned? Just out of curiosity.
No, I said that it's getting overturned right now.
Why do you think it's going to be overturned?
Because it's never happened in history. Like, I do it, everybody does it. Like, you go to the bank and you say, "Hey, I have a property that's worth 150K.
Well, hold on.
I want to borrow 100K."
Hold on. Are you saying you lie to the banks?
No, I say that my property is worth 150K. They say, "Okay, we're going to do our own investigation." They come up with 140K.
Well, hold on. Hold on. To be clear, the difference in Trump's case was not a difference of $10,000. But are you saying that you've knowingly lied to banks? You've knowingly submitted false evaluations?
No, you're. No.
So when you say that everybody does it, I don't think everybody does it, right? So you haven't submitted false evaluations to banks because you know that's illegal, right?
Do you own anything?
Yes, I own things. I own Trump supporters. These people are not good at debating.
Like when you go to the bank and you put something up for collateral, they say, "How much do you think it's worth?"
They don't ask you how much do you think it's worth. There's actually an actual formula to find out how much these things are worth. So you can't just be like, "Yeah, I think my house is worth $1 trillion." And it's like, okay. But
real estate school, and there's multiple ways of finding that. His was revenue.
Except no, it wasn't. It was just lying. So Trump lied about the square footage of some properties to say that, oh, his New York City penthouse was around 30,000 square feet. In reality, it was just over around 10,000 square feet. And in New York City, that's a huge difference in valuation. It can be tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. He also lied about the floors, how many floors were in his properties, how many apartments were in some of his properties, the revenues from those properties. It's like, if you just lie about all this stuff, this is illegal.
When has there been a case like this ever brought?
I just out of curiosity, why are you asking that question of all the questions? It's like that doesn't speak to the merit of the evidence against Donald Trump. It's like, this is a unique case because it's coming from a unique. Thank you, Austin, for the meteor. It's a unique case because it has unique facts.
It's now Trump, because they want to just prosecute him to keep him off the ballot.
No, it's not because it's Donald Trump. It's because he committed some crimes. He broke the law, and this is very obviously illegal. And then he has people like you who defend him, unfortunately, when the evidence is clear.
When was the law broke?
So when he lied to banks, that's when the law was broke. And when Donald Trump's own accountant at the Trump Organization was told by Trump Organization, when the Trump's own accountant testified under oath at the trial that they were told to inflate the value of assets in a positive way, that's fraud.
And you're saying that other people have been prosecuted for something like this when there have been
people who have been held accountable for fraud before, yes. But as I mentioned, this is a unique case with unique facts, but the facts don't change because of its uniqueness. What was that?
Only brought to smear Trump.
It's not brought to smear Trump. There's just overwhelming evidence that Donald Trump committed fraud, and he was found liable for that fraud. It's that simple. It's like you're trying to say that there's some nefarious goal with this lawsuit. But in reality, you're not even acknowledging the evidence against Donald Trump. You are not even acknowledging the fact that he lied about. Can you stop talking? Can you stop talking? You're not even acknowledging the fact that he lied about the square footage of properties or the revenues of certain properties or the potential for revenue for certain properties. You're not even engaging with the facts. Why?
Why did Letitia James run on a platform to specifically go after Trump legally?
Yo, Austin, thank you for the Leon. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you, Sage. Loan for the Sage. She didn't just run on the platform of, I'm going to get Trump. What she and others have said is that we're going to follow the facts and they'll take us where they may. And if there's something that shows that Donald Trump broke the law, then we'll hold him accountable. If there's not, then we're not going to bring a frivolous lawsuit because that would obviously hurt them and hurt the legitimacy of the Attorney General's office. So they brought lawsuits against Donald Trump, of which they could prove. And so far, in terms of the business fraud trial, they have proved that, and the district attorney proved that Donald Trump committed crimes. And your only excuse is, I think it's fraud and they're targeting him. You're not even engaging on the facts. You're not even saying anything about the merit of the evidence. You're just saying, well, I think they targeted him, and that makes no sense. I mean, probably wouldn't be a great defense attorney.
That's kind of like entrapment. I said that's kind of like entrapment. It's like, find me the person, I'll find the crime. It's
not at all because there is a crime here. And again, you're not engaging with the merit of the evidence. Like, do you know the evidence against Trump? Do you know anything about the evidence against Trump?
Yes, I watched a lot of the court things, and I don't think you're watching the same videos I am.
Okay, so what is some of the evidence against Trump that the Attorney General brought to the case?
Well, the five judges that just went up against Letitia's lawyers or whatever, they all pretty much threw it all out.
A ruling has not been issued.
Yes, but the judges were astounded that they charged that much. 480 million or something like that. 482 million.
So I think that, again, like I said this earlier in the live, I think it's likely that the sum gets reduced, but in terms of whether it being overturned, no, there's no reason to believe that the judges are going to overturn it.
And then they also brought up the fact that there's no victim.
There actually is a victim. I mean, there is actually a victim. It's the people of New York, and it's Deutsche Bank and all these other people, all these other lenders. So they actually did bring up victims and whatnot. But the law in New York gives the Attorney General broad authority to go after business fraud and people that commit fraud.
The bank testified on Trump's side. They want to do business with him again.
The bank actually did not testify on Trump's side. They also testified about how they exited the deal once they learned about Trump lying about a lot of this stuff. So the bank was not like, oh, we love Donald Trump. They're like, yeah, we actually ended the deal.
They got interest. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, just to be clear, if somebody commits a crime, if somebody steals $1 million from you, and then they give you $1 million back, it doesn't mean that a crime wasn't committed.
With interest.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that a crime wasn't committed, right? Would you agree?
There was no victim. Like,
so the people that were stolen from.
If somebody stole something from me and then gave me back the money with interest, wouldn't you be happy?
No, I would still want somebody who steals money to go to jail. What? Of course, I don't like thieves in society. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, but
great. So you would then also, by that logic, want Donald Trump to be held accountable, because even if he paid it back in full, I couldn't care less. If he commits fraud in order to get ahead and make himself some money and enrich himself, I think that's wrong. I think he should still be held accountable, because here's the thing. You and I would not be able to do that. Trump used that money to make more money. So he is lying and stealing to get ahead, whereas you and I, we try to do that, we go to jail. So yeah, I think that Donald Trump should be held accountable. You don't, apparently. You think anytime Donald Trump's held accountable, even if they prove it beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law, you say he's being targeted. My man, you got to get away from the Trump cult. You got to get away. Look, you got to get back to loving America. You got to get back to loving America and not the man. You love the man and not the country. You love the man and not the country. Our country and our systems of justice are working as you are. Our country and our systems of justice are working as intended. And you're just saying, yeah, screw the system. I like Trump more than the system.
No,
it's wrong. Get it together, buddy. Get it together. Come on. Get it together. Got to stop loving the man more than the country.
It's not. It's just kind of bullshit.
You can't even cite anything in the case that you quote unquote say is bullshit. You're just saying, yeah, they're targeting him, and I think that it's wrong, and you're not even engaging with the evidence. And he was found guilty of 34 felonies. You say that was BS as well. It's like, come on, man. Like you stop loving the man. Stop loving the man. It's so weird what you guys do.
Why now and why him? That's what I'm saying. Why him and why now?
So with the criminal case, for example, that investigation actually started long before the Trump ran for office in 2020 or even now. It started in like 2016, 2017. And this investigation was what?
It was
what could you possibly be saying right now that's valuable to this conversation? Can you please stop talking? Can you please stop talking? Okay, thank you. So that investigation started long ago. It was obstructed by Donald Trump's Department of Justice and Will Barr and whatnot, and different attorney generals. And then when Donald Trump left office, because he wasn't president anymore, the district attorney had more reign to actually investigate Donald Trump because he's a private citizen. So in that case, the New York case where he was convicted, they had all these investigations taking place, and then they indicted him now because he wasn't president anymore. And he still went through the system of justice, was given due process. He went to trial and was convicted by a jury of his peers, and the jury was selected by both Trump's lawyers and Trump himself and the prosecution. Same with the civil fraud trial. He went through the system of justice, due process, whatnot. Same with E. Jean Carroll. Same with all of these trials. And yet he goes through the system of justice, gets due process, and you still claim it's fraud. It's very strange. It's very strange.
I'm not claiming it's fraud. I'm just saying it's very strange how it's Trump, 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 Trump. Let's nail him every inch he goes.
Buddy, he committed crimes. You're like, why is somebody that committed so many crimes being held accountable for committing those crimes? Like, it's almost like it's mind-boggling. Do you think that like Jeffrey Dahmer was unfairly targeted? Because he committed a bunch of crimes, was indicted for a bunch of stuff. But so you're saying, it's just Jeffrey Dahmer. Use that same logic with any other criminal.
So they're targeting Trump just to save us? Is that what they're
Nobody's
doing?
targeting him. Nobody's targeting him. That's the thing. Nobody's targeting him. These are officials who have been elected to positions of power in terms of enforcing the law, and they're enforcing the law. If Trump broke the law, I think he should be held accountable, but you're saying that he shouldn't. It's very strange.
But when did he commit these crimes?
So the hush money payments that and then of course, the subsequent falsifying of business records took place in around 2016, 2017. The conspiracy was entered into during Donald Trump's presidential campaign. The money was executed during and while Donald Trump was president. And so that's when those crimes took place. All the other crimes took place either when he was in office or out of office.
And a lot of them before he was in office.
Well, the New York case had the conspiracy entered into before he was in office. So don't vote for somebody who commits crimes. But apparently that's a position that Republicans can't agree on these days, which is very upsetting.
Well, if the other side, I'd probably vote for the other side if they weren't trying to take assault weapons and all that stuff.
We're not trying to take your weapons. If you have an assault weapon right now, Kamala Harris doesn't want to take it.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's right. Kamala Harris has talked about an assault weapons ban, but that ban does not mean your weapons getting taken away from you. It just means that at some point in the United States, we stop the sale and production of the assault weapons of AR-15s in the United States and things like that. But if you have one right now, we're not trying to take it from you.
She supports a mandatory gun buyback.
She no longer supports a mandatory gun buyback. She said that one time, but now her policy has been updated. You can find this policy on her website if you like.
So she's changed her mind on that.
She has indeed changed her position, correct.
That's weird.
And by the way, Joe Biden has been president for 4 years. Kamala Harris has been VP for 4 years. They haven't come from your guns yet, right?
Actually, one became illegal under their administration.
What gun became illegal?
Actually, a 22.
I mean, I know they've taken reforms on like ghost guns and things like that, but in terms of like,
no, it's
no
a
firearm
22 AR, an AR pistol because it has a brace. They think that a 22 is scary. They put government in charge of it, and it just gets all whacked out because they don't know anything. Like a 22 AR is like lethal to a squirrel, but yet it's the only illegal gun that I've lost in a boating accident.
And wait, what? What's the weapon that was banned? What's the name specifically?
An AR-22 pistol. Any AR platform 22, any AR platform pistol or whatever, any pistol that has a brace on it is now illegal.
I just looked this up. No, quote, no, the AR-22 pistol is not banned under federal law, as the federal assault weapons ban expired in 2004. However, some states have their own assault weapons laws, including Illinois. So depending on where you live, you might have a ban in your state, but it's not federal law.
It's a federal ban only on the brace. You can take the brace off and just have like a little tube sticking out or whatever and use like a pistol. It's registered as a pistol.
Yeah, I don't know about a brace. I mean, I don't know the specifics about that, but you can, no weapons are being banned.
Or gets involved in like dealing with that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this brace is bad." It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know the specifics of what you're referencing, but point is that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris have been president for 4 years. They haven't come for your guns. They're not taking your guns. You'll be all right, I promise. And you don't have to vote for a wannabe dictator to protect your firearms. It's, you don't have to compromise on your what.
And the EPA regulations are pretty much killing us. The last Biden, what was it, the Green New Deal they passed? What was that, Obama?
Green New Deal's not been passed.
Or like Green New Deal wasn't that back in like Obama era where they were trying to get that through?
Nope. The Green New Deal has not been passed.
What was the past one that did?
The Inflation Reduction Act?
No.
I don't know what you're referencing, but listen, all right. I think we'll leave the conversation there. Just think about your vote, all right? Yeah?
Negatory, I can't.
All right, go vote for the wannabe dictator, man. Compromise the country, I don't care. I mean, Jesus Christ. I think he lives in Illinois. Yo, Janet, thank you for the $5. Any info on Trump saying $60K to bury a blank blank in regards to murdered Vanessa Gillen, who was serving our country when she was really blanked on based in Fort Hood, Texas? P.S. You're awesome. I appreciate that. No information. I mean, none more than we have right now from the Atlantic article, but insane. Oh, he said Ohio. You're right, Lynn. He said Ohio. You're right. Totally forgot about that. JW, thank you for the $25. Hey, Harry, sending you some more support. Mortgage is coming up next week, so I wish I had more, but I wanted to show you some love. JW, please, please, please save your money. Pay your mortgage, man. I just appreciate you being here. As I always say, like, if you're just watching and enjoying and liking up the live, it means a lot. You don't have to do any more. And JW, you're always supporting the live, so I appreciate it, man. Hope you're doing well. Know that we're always appreciative of you. And Sarah, thank you for the $1. Is he saying Trump or bump stocks? Trump banned those. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about, but you know, some people are just too far gone. Hopefully, Michaela is not. Michaela, why are you MAGA?
I'm in for her.
Oh, okay. Is she with you?
Yeah, she's with me. I was listening, so I just figured I'd get on.
Yeah. 1 second before we start, make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 800,000 likes, all that good stuff. Venmo, Cash App, and the link in the bio if you want to support the live. So hopefully this individual is not super extreme. So why are you MAGA?
Well, I got a better question. Like, why are you not? You sound like you got Trump derangement syndrome, like nobody's business I've ever heard.
What state are you voting in, out of curiosity?
Washington, so my vote won't really matter. But
gotcha. So I support Kamala Harris for a number of reasons. She has been a dedicated public servant, starting as District Attorney of San Francisco, Attorney General of California, Senator from California, now Vice President, now running for president. In all of these different roles, she's accomplished a lot of great things for the people that she was representing. But, you know, on a moral level, she's a good person. From a leadership perspective, she's great. She has the necessary experience, and she has some great policy that she's proposing, such as being pro-choice and wanting to invest in American manufacturing and further expand healthcare for veterans and things of that nature. So that's why I support Kamala Harris. Why do you support Donald Trump?
is one of your favorite things supporting her the sex changes for criminals, or
You mean the same thing that Donald Trump funded under his presidency?
No, he didn't.
It's the law. So I have an article on this from the New York Times I can show you. Again, it's just a lack of reading. Look, this is the article from the New York Times. It says, under Trump, U.S. prisons offer gender affirming care. Because if you don't, if a state or the federal government was preventing somebody in a prison who was deemed medically necessary for them to get. One sec, I'm not done yet. If it was deemed, one sec, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Sex offenders in prison.
Yeah, so listen to what I'm saying. You'll understand why the government does this. So if it was deemed medically necessary for a trans inmate to get gender affirming care, it would be against the cruel and unusual punishment clause of the Constitution, because that procedure, those hormones, whatever it might be, have been deemed medically necessary. So for example, it would be like saying, hey, this person, it's been deemed medically necessary for them to get heart surgery. You wouldn't say, well, the state should prevent them from that. You would also say that violates the cruel and unusual punishment clause if they did do that. Same's with somebody who's trans and has been deemed medically necessary for them to get that care. That's why it took place under the Trump administration. And so to answer your question, this happens under both administrations.
You realize that the true amount of a true transsexual who has male and female
Can you tell me why you support Trump? Can you tell me why you support Trump?
Yeah, because he had a great economy. Look at the economy that we have right now. Did we have wars brewing under Trump? No.
Yes.
Now we have two brewing under this administration. And, you know, Ukraine, maybe he couldn't have done anything with Israel, but Ukraine could have easily been stopped. You know how I know? Because
easily,
they took Crimea under Obama, tested the waters, and they didn't do anything for 4 years. And as soon as the Biden administration came in, they're lining tanks up to storm in there.
So what did Donald Trump do? We'll talk about all of this and more. We'll talk about all of this and more. But what did Donald Trump do to make the economy better?
Well, he had record low unemployment before.
That's not the question I asked. What did he do to make the economy better?
Well, what did Biden do to make it better?
I'm happy to talk about what Biden did to make the economy better, but I asked you a question. I would like an answer. What did Donald Trump do to make the economy better?
Well, he started with his tax cuts that he put in that are still in effect, that they've never went and removed. Obviously,
so how did the tax cuts help the economy?
How do tax cuts not help the economy? They put more money in everybody's pocket, up to $4,000.
83% of the benefits went to the top 1%, though. How did that help the middle class?
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Your talking points aren't facts. They're just.
I mean, I can show you an article on this if you'd like. I can show you an article on this if you'd like.
Lines that you like to put out there, but his tax.
It's not rehearsed stuff. It's just fact. It's just fact. So there's also been a number of projections. There's also been a number of projections from, for example, there was a study done by a Republican and a Democratic economist that found that the tax cuts were only going to grow the GDP by 0.02%. 0.02%. And it would add trillions to the deficit, which it did. The deficit went up every single year under Donald Trump. And in terms of who is it going to benefit over the 10-year period that it's in place, it has been projected that for the lowest quintile of earners, it will actually reduce their after-tax income, whereas for the highest quintile of earners, it would increase their after-tax income. So this screws over the middle class. There was a temporary tax cut, but it actually hurts them in the long run.
It's actually not a temporary tax cut.
It is. It's quite literally a temporary tax cut. You just acknowledge that it expires after 10 years. That's quite literally the definition of temporary.
Well, why have they left it in place then?
Well, it would be terrible to leave in. It would be terrible to leave in place. It'd be terrible to leave in place because it only benefits the wealthy. And as I just mentioned, 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. And for the biggest earners in the country, it skews heavily to them. And you still have not cited any data for why these tax cuts help the economy. Like, how did it lead to more job growth? Where's the data that said it led to more job growth or things like that? Because that's what Donald Trump said it was going to do. He said he was going to boom jobs, and that never happened.
Well, do you remember a thing called COVID happening where our whole economy shut down?
I for sure do, but there were a couple of years before COVID happened where this law was in place.
Take credit for too. The ones that came back after COVID.
Yeah, so even if you factor out the COVID jobs, Biden still has better average job growth than Donald Trump did.
He got all the returning jobs that disappeared from COVID.
Yeah, and did you just listen to what I just said? If you factor out the COVID jobs, even if you call them COVID jobs, which they weren't automatically going to come back. They weren't just going to be like, okay, they're all back now. But even if you factor out those jobs, Biden per month still has better job growth per month than Donald Trump did.
Can you answer my question? If those tax cuts that you're slamming on are so bad, Biden and Harris have been in power for the last 4 years. Why have they left them in place?
So they tried.
And they controlled the Senate and the House in the beginning. Why did they leave them in place?
They tried. The Republicans blocked the reform.
Dude.
It's also called the filibuster, by the way, in the Senate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
They don't have the filibuster, pal. Like that's another.
Do you know what the filibuster is?
Yeah, it's called where they can fucking jam things through. I do know.
Yeah, so you need 60 plus senators to end a filibuster, and they don't have, as you know, 60 plus senators to end a filibuster.
No, but they've got the tie-breaking vote in Kamala Harris. So
yeah, and in order to get rid of the filibuster, you need a majority of people, and they don't have the majority of the people in the Congress and the Senate specifically that want to get rid of the filibuster. They also don't have 60 Democrats to break a filibuster.
Listen, they put those tax cuts in without the filibuster, and they could have repealed them without the filibuster. They can.
Yeah,
they
because they went through a specific procedure through Congress. I know a lot of people that are listening
to you don't know the way things work, but I do.
Neither do you. You don't even know what the filibuster is. So they went through a specific procedure through Congress called reconciliation.
Hold on, never going to have that again.
Just be quiet. They went through a specific procedure through Congress called reconciliation that can be used for certain policies, specifically surrounding the economy and taxes. And then in that case, you need only a majority of the Senate to get that bill passed. And that's what Donald Trump and the Republicans used. So it wasn't able to be filibustered. That's how they got the law passed. They had a bigger majority in the Senate, but still not a 60 senator majority. That's how it happened. But when it comes to repealing a law, you can't use reconciliation. So this is just basic government stuff. You would know this if you weren't just a Trump fanboy. But unfortunately, that's what you are.
Well, why? So why do you believe the inflation has ran up so high under them then? Why don't you explain that one?
So wait, just to be clear before we start, are you blaming inflation on them?
Oh, well, I mean, what are you trying to blame it on Trump that we have inflation when he's not even president?
No, I'm not. Just out of curiosity, but I'm just asking, are you blaming it on Biden and Harris? It's a simple question. Well, don't fold in front of your girlfriend now. It's a simple question. Come on. You're just choosing not to answer? God, it must be embarrassing to have Oh, he just left. Oh, okay. All right. No, for sure, man. No, for sure. No, for sure. I like that. You're sitting in front of your girlfriend and you just straight up leave the live. I don't that's crazy. Can't do that. Can't do that. Come on, bro. That was unfortunate. Devon, thank you for the $4 in the box, bro. I have a question about the border. Yeah, happy to bring you up. You can also just comment under this, and I can answer it that way if that makes it easier. Hannah, thank you for the $10. Do they know yelling doesn't mean they're right? Hannah, I don't think so. I think that, they think that the more they interrupt or the more they scream, I think they think that means they're right, but not great. Patricia, thank you for the $10. Love your lives. MAGA is so unhinged. Damn right they are. What I wanted to say in that conversation eventually is for her to drop him and get a better partner, because you shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't believe in your rights to control your body. Very strange. Certainly not in a relationship with somebody who would vote for somebody who assaults women. But that's what they do. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Also, double tap the screen. We're almost at 1 million. If everybody double taps the screen and fills up that entire bar, I think we could probably get there really quickly. But listen, also I post on every single social media platform. I post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. All of those links are in my bio. I do that every single day. So it would mean a lot if you can go to the bio and follow on all the different platforms. So yeah, we will leave it there. All right. Cass Fenton is here. Let's see. Is she in the box? She's not. I can't invite her up for. Oh, this lighting is brutal. Hello, fix yourself. Oh, look at this guy saying felon for president. Let's give that guy an invite. Seems like a real stand-up guy. His profile picture is his girlfriend kissing him on the cheek. I wonder if she knows that he loves Trump more than her. It's gonna be a tough conversation one day. Tough conversation. It's not, I don't know how you break that to her. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Look at this guy saying Trump all day. Very strange. It's just very strange. Oh, here's somebody. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Drop. And he left. Why'd you leave? You can't talk all that rah-rah in the chat and then leave. I got kids asleep, man. But yes, felon. Well, go into another room, buddy. Get the hell out of the live. You're going to be doing stuff like that. MAGA is forever. I've talked to that guy before. Trump all day. Oh, he said my phone glitched. Let's get him back up.
You let me come back?
You're back.
Am I back on?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. My phone was glitching out.
Her phone was glitching out, yeah.
Her phone, yeah. Good point.
Thanks.
So anyways, where did we leave off? I wasn't trying to jump off on you. Inflation.
I asked you a simple question. Do you think Biden and Harris are responsible for inflation?
Well, yeah, I think they drove through a bunch of policy when they first got in there that haven't helped it. I think there definitely would have been inflation under Trump, because I don't think it would have been as bad. You can't really pass out as much unemployment as went out over those years and not have some type of inflation. But I think that they continued to drive home a problem for sure.
So what policy in specific did they pass that you thought raised inflation?
Well, I think bringing back unemployment and all the stuff that they did in the beginning, and along with that, the bill of their Inflation Reduction Act.
How did the Inflation Reduction Act raise inflation?
Well, did you see all the government spending? Are you familiar with any of it?
Yeah, but it's over a 10-year period. So you see this big number. That's not a bunch of money that's just printed right now or a bunch of money that's put into the economy right now. It's over a 10-year period. And also, if you think that a bunch of bills being passed raised inflation, then you'd have to say that, if this is your justification, you'd have to say that Donald Trump contributed to inflation more, because his 10-year borrowing is almost double what President Biden's is, and his stimulus packages combined were a higher number than Biden's stimulus packages. So if you think that that's because of inflation, then, well, I guess you wouldn't be voting for Donald Trump.
Well, I've already conceded that I said I think under the unemployment that there would have been some inflation. I just think I don't think he was going to put that back into effect when you gave a bunch more unemployment, you gave a bunch more government handouts. I just think that that's what it did. That's what.
But it wasn't a bunch more. Again, the stimulus package that Biden passed was lower in value in terms of money than Donald Trump's combined stimulus packages. So if your view is that all the stimulus money contributed to inflation, then you'd be blaming Donald Trump more than Joe Biden for inflation.
Well, I'd give him a little, like I told you. I mean, we can go back and forth on that all you want, but I mean, there is bills that were passed that have as you like to, note The Economist, that did say that the Inflation Reduction Act actually caused inflation. I mean, a simple Google search will show you that. And these experts.
Yeah, I'm asking you specifically what part of the Inflation Reduction Act raised inflation.
Well, I don't have all of this sitting in front of me, but we can.
You don't know. You just got that talking point from Trump that the Inflation Reduction Act raised inflation.
All you've done
but all we know, we know for a
point.
fact that is not true. Obviously, I don't know how you think that capping insulin at $35 a month raised inflation, but sure.
So much about it. What did the Inflation Reduction Act actually go for then?
What did it do? Is what you're asking?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there were two main provisions as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act. One was addressing healthcare. So part of what this bill did was allow Medicare to now negotiate private drug prices with these private drug companies in an effort to get those prices down. This is something that the healthcare industry has been lobbying against for years. President Biden got it done, and Medicare has already announced at least 10 of the drugs that they are working with these private companies to get down, and prices will go down. It also capped insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare, inhalers at $35 a month. Also, starting in 2025, out-of-pocket expenses for prescription drug costs for seniors will be capped at $2,000 a year. Those are really, really major reforms. Also, there are more Americans covered with health insurance right now than ever before as a result of this policy and others that the Biden administration has implemented. But also another part of this policy was the investments in fighting climate change. It provided the largest investment, not only in American history, but in world history in fighting climate change. That includes giving some tax credits for electric vehicle purchases or investing in the renewable energy sector. The Biden administration has even created a federal program to allow people to go work on green energy projects, make at least $15 an hour, get great benefits, travel covered, housing covered, things like that. So that's what that bill did. I don't know how any of this increased inflation, but
yeah, and I don't know how any of it. But even more than you don't know how any of it increased inflation. That sounds pretty small for the name to be the Inflation Reduction Act. I don't see how any of that reduced inflation at all.
Well, you can take a problem with the name, but when you're lowering healthcare costs, specifically with insulin, which can cost like $400 a month for some people, yeah, that's going to lower some people's monthly costs, right? They're going to save money as a result of that bill. And as I mentioned, in 2025, prescription drug costs for out-of-pocket costs for prescription drugs for seniors capped at $2,000 a year. That's a big, as Joe Biden would say, a big effing deal.
It was literally a name to drive it through to the American people to get people on board. You
can take an issue with the name. That's fine. You can take an issue with the name. That's fine.
Well, it did nothing for inflation. It wasn't the Inflation Reduction Act.
Did you just hear what I said when it comes to lowering healthcare costs for people?
Yes,
Do you not think that healthcare costs are part of inflation?
It's not that big of a part of it.
Well, for some people who have insulin and need these drugs every single month to stay alive, yeah, it's a pretty big damn part of their monthly cost, and that's helping a lot of people right now.
Yeah, but then it should be called the Medical Act. It shouldn't be called the Inflation Reduction Act. That was literally a name to put on people to drive.
Again, you're taking issue.
That they're doing stuff.
You can object to the name, like that's fine. If you want to object to the name, I don't care. But you're taking issue with the name, not the substance of the policy. Did I mention anything that you disagree with?
Well, it's just it's bull though. I mean, you put a name on that like that, and
So nothing, essentially nothing. So the bill didn't increase inflation. That's nonsense. The inflation rate actually decreased virtually every single month after that bill was passed.
It didn't decrease it either.
I'm not saying that. I think that what I said was that it decreased the average monthly cost for your average American. Not that it decreased the inflation rate, but point is, you said it raised inflation, but in actuality, the inflation rate went down almost every single month after that bill was signed into law by President Biden, and also the inflation rate is very low right now.
Are you saying that you think that the inflation went down because of that bill? When you
No,
say
I did not. I did not make that claim. Just listen to me very carefully. Inflation went down almost every single month after that bill was signed into law. I'm not saying that bill decreased inflation. I'm saying it certainly lowered costs for a lot of people, but I'm not saying it decreased inflation. But now inflation is around 2.4%. It's very, very low. It's gotten down because of the work that the Federal Reserve has done and, of course, investments that Biden has made. But it's good stuff.
It still isn't down lower than what he stormed it up to, though, is it?
So how did Biden raise inflation?
Well, how's it raised on his watch? What do you mean?
So you said that he stormed it up to a high rate of inflation. How?
If Trump was in office and inflation had went up like this right now, would you really be saying Trump didn't raise inflation?
Yeah, the president doesn't control inflation.
You're blaming him for everything, like I heard you already do it on.
The president doesn't control inflation, my man.
Yeah,
doesn't control gas prices. Doesn't control inflation.
Final signature on law. So in essence, they do. He signed off.
In essence, they don't, because you'd actually have to pass policy that increased inflation, and you'd have to actually be able to point to a policy that increased inflation. So far, you've failed to do that.
And back to you talking about the tax cut. To repeal a law, I understand what you're saying, but they could have easily passed a new tax plan, and all they would have needed was Kamala as the tiebreaker to do it. But they didn't have a tax plan. They never had a tax plan. And you know, and I know that them repealing Trump's tax cuts that were actually good for the American people would have been a suicide mission for them. They know it would have been taking money.
I mean,
out of people's
wait, by the way, the
would've
Democrats
done
are running on repealing these tax cuts right now because they didn't help the American people specifically. Like that, Trump's tax cuts are wildly unpopular when polled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Trump
I
running on these
remember
tax cuts and wanting to give billionaires more tax cuts is a really bad policy that I don't understand why they run on, but they do it anyway. And you know, the Biden administration was busy. First of all, they can't just repeal a law and then put in their own, right? That you can't just do that with a simple majority in the Senate. But also, the Biden administration was busy with passing gun reform and investment in infrastructure and investment in manufacturing, expanding veterans' health care, and more. All of this stuff they were busy with. It's certainly a more productive administration than the Trump administration by far. So they were busy with that stuff while Donald Trump was sitting at Mar-a-Lago tweeting and golfing.
Why is he probably going to win again in a couple of weeks? And what's your theory on that?
I don't know where you're getting probably from. Any election expert is telling you the election is tied. Like at best it's 50-50.
Can we make a deal right now that
I don't
the
bet
day
on
after
politics.
the election? Huh?
I don't bet on politics. So if you're about to say, can
I'm not betting. I'm saying, can we just make a little agreement that the day after the election, you and me do this again, no matter what?
Yeah, you can come in the live. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee that you can come up, but if you're there and you're saying like, oh, Trump or something like that, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to let this guy up. Absolutely.
Okay, so you think Kamala has a good chance at winning in a couple weeks?
I think both of them have a decent chance of winning. I wouldn't say one way or another that it's leaning toward. Like I actually have 538 pulled up in front of me for the president. It's tied in polling in Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So this election is close. It's not probably this person's going to win or probably that person's going to win.
You ever pull up 270 to win?
Yeah, I'm familiar with 270 to win.
Yeah, it reads a little different, but I know it's close on all of them.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say anybody's probably going to win, but certainly the felon shouldn't win.
Well, let's get back to that then. So do you really think that if Alan Bragg, who brought the criminal case against him in New York, ran on doing that, right? They couldn't bring that case for 2 years before him. He ran in a liberal district with a liberal prosecutor, a liberal judge. Do you really believe that horseshit trial would have been brought anywhere besides a 92% liberal state like New York?
So Alvin Bragg didn't run on prosecuting Donald Trump. What he said in his campaign is that he'll follow the facts and it'll take them where they may. And there were actually people that resigned. There were people that resigned from his office because they felt like he wasn't prosecuting or going at the case aggressive enough.
He had to change the law.
The law was not changed. What law was changed?
He had to go back and change it to a felony from a misdemeanor. He had to extend
the law is not changed. That's not changing the law. And that's what Donald Trump did. He committed a felony. He didn't commit a misdemeanor. It would be a miscarriage of justice if he was charged with something else as opposed to being charged with what he should have been charged with. So that's not what Alvin Bragg said. And then he was indicted. Donald Trump.
Why did it take so long to charge him?
Because Donald Trump was president. Because Donald Trump was president. So for 4 years, it's obviously a sitting president has never been indicted. That probably wouldn't fly, indicting a sitting president, especially a Supreme Court president now. But the investigation was stalled a lot during Donald Trump's term because there's a lot of allegations of good evidence to suggest that Donald Trump's attorney general's office hurt the investigation, kind of prevented it from moving forward in the way that they would have liked it to. So once Trump left office, then they continued the investigation and they indicted him a year and a half, 2 years later after that investigation concluded. And they went to a grand jury. The grand jury was a group of average American citizens in New York. They handed down an indictment. They indicted him. They went to trial. Donald Trump and his lawyers helped select a jury. So did the prosecution. And Donald Trump had a defense. There was no instance of him not being given due process, and he lost. He was convicted of all 34 counts. Can you point me to an instance in the case where he was treated unfairly?
Well, he was treated unfairly through the whole thing. I mean, listen, man, have you ever seen something like that? Like, have you ever known people who have been in trouble? Let's say he really did pay a porn star, right? 34 felonies. Are you for real?
He was not charged with paying an adult actress. Yeah, he was charged with falsifying business records in the first degree.
Right. And you were talking earlier about how all the banks and all this stuff, when you were talking to the guy earlier who didn't know nothing, you know that not one of these banks wanted him to be charged and he defaulted on none of them. Not one of those
It doesn't matter.
Not one of those loans did he ever not pay. There was no fraud.
I mean, as I was saying to that guy earlier, and we should talk about both these cases, but as I was saying to that guy earlier, even if a crime is committed, but all the money is paid back, it doesn't change the fact that the crime was committed. You can't have thieves in society who take money and then give more money back just so they can make some cash. So I think that thieves should be held accountable. I would hope that you would agree. Donald Trump is clearly a thief. He lied to these banks to get better interest rates and more favorable loans. But specifically, just going back to the criminal case, can you point me to a specific instance in the case where the judge or the prosecution or anybody involved in the process was unfair to Donald Trump?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, go for it.
Did you watch any of that? Every motion that they ever brought to him was, you could tell that the judge was against him from the beginning. And you know,
can you give an example?
And you know that prosecutor, whether you want to sit and act like he wasn't or not, he ran to charge Donald Trump.
You said this already. Can you give me an example?
Well, with all the motions and everything, that their main thing to get Donald Trump was an actual liar in Cohen, his old lawyer.
Wait. It was not just Michael Cohen who testified, by the way. It was David Pecker, it was Hope Hicks, it was Michael Cohen, it was a variety of people. But again, I'm asking you a simple question. I'm asking you a simple question. You said that there were so many examples. So can you give me an example of during the case when the judge or anybody was unfair to Donald Trump?
The biggest one to me would be letting Michael Cohen testify. It's the equivalent of this. If you right now you hire a lawyer, right, who makes decisions for you for your business, and they do things, and that lawyer ends up going to prison, saying what they were doing was wrong, and
because they lied for Donald Trump.
Going to do time. But do you appoint your lawyer in the direction you want him to go? Or does a lawyer appoint you in the direction they want you to go?
I don't even know what that question means in context of the case.
If you seek legal advice from a lawyer, if you're in trouble tomorrow or you have business doings and you go hire a lawyer, are you telling them how you want them to work, or are they telling you how to work?
How does this speak to it being wrong for Michael Cohen to testify? You're saying it was wrong for Michael Cohen to testify. What would prevent Michael Cohen from testifying?
Well, the fact that he's a proven liar and a felon himself should
but criminals testify in cases all the time. So, for example, somebody might plead guilty to a crime, a lesser crime, to testify against somebody that's on trial. So them being a criminal inherently does not make them not trustworthy, especially because Michael Cohen was Donald Trump's fixer for many years. He had firsthand knowledge of a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And the crimes that Michael Cohen went to jail for, admitted to, were crimes that were at the benefit of Donald Trump. He was doing this stuff for Donald Trump. He lied for Donald Trump.
But my point to you is, if you bring on a lawyer who advises you on everything, like Cohen did for him, right? Is it really, at the end of the day, Cohen that maybe should be being charged for all that, or Trump? Because
Michael Cohen faced accountability.
In the dealings I've ever had with any kind of lawyer, I'm not the one telling them what to do.
So Michael Cohen faced accountability, but you're still not explaining to me how Michael Cohen testifying is unfair to Donald Trump. The prosecution's allowed to call whoever they want, and the defense could have called people to combat Michael Cohen's testimony, and Donald Trump's defense and he himself failed.
Because why would he not, when he got deals from the prosecutors to go against Trump?
That happens all of the time. So people are given deals. People are given deals to testify all of the time. This is something that's very common in criminal justice. And the point is, no, where are you getting this? Most of them are. That's utter nonsense.
Well, that's called a plea deal.
Also, it's up to the jury. It's up to the jury.
And when you show up in front of the jury and you're already a convicted felon, and
so again, as we just talked about, convicted felons testify in cases all of the time. This is something very common in the criminal justice system, because again, for example, if there's a drug deal gone wrong and somebody that was there but was engaging in illegal activity pleads to a lower charge so that they testify, they would still be a criminal, but they would have valid testimony. And of course, also in the criminal justice system, it's up to the jury to decide the validity of somebody's testimony, not the judge or the prosecutor or the defense. That's why a lot of them are given free reign, or not free reign, I should say, but a lot of leniency when it comes to testifying, because it's up to the jury to decide their validity. And that's what happened. The jury decided. There was a jury appointed, and Michael Cohen's testimony was backed up by testimony from people before him. It was a very beautiful story weaved by the prosecutors, and having Michael Cohen testify last was very deliberate. But again, you're just bringing up random shit to justify voting for a convicted felon. You can't just accept that the guy you're voting for is a goddamn criminal. You have to come up with random things that you don't know to justify voting for this guy.
From a liberal justice department and 91 felonies. You got people out here doing all kinds of crimes, not getting 90 something felonies.
And that's utter nonsense.
Felonies.
There are people charged all the time. You also don't, I mean, like in the other cases, Donald Trump's on audio admitting to stealing classified documents.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know about that. You know, he's on audio pressuring the Georgia Secretary of State to find him 11,000 votes so he could overturn the election in his favor. You don't know about that.
So why didn't Biden catch charges over the ones in his garage?
Because he was investigated for this, and it was the same reason that Mike Pence, Donald Trump's former VP, did not catch charges. Because in order to charge somebody with the statute surrounding national defense information, there has to be intent and withholding and knowledge and knowingly withholding classified documents. So if you intentionally steal classified documents, then you can be charged with a crime. But if you unintentionally retain classified documents, like, for example, somebody packs up boxes, accidentally throws a document in there and brings it home, that is not a crime. You will not be charged. All you got to do is give the document back, and then you're good. That's what Mike Pence did. That's what Joe Biden did, and they were not charged. But with Donald Trump, there is intent. It's very obvious via all the evidence we have that he intentionally stole classified documents, and you're voting for him anyway.
Well, what they actually said on Biden was he was such a bumbling old man. He wasn't coherent enough to actually catch a criminal case. Not wrong.
Wrong. Not wrong. Wrong. You haven't even read the report. You'd have no idea. What was the special counsel's name?
On what one?
The one that investigated Biden? Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So what Special Counsel Robert Hur,
not what you thought.
Special Counsel Robert Hur
I don't have all my
actually wrote,
talking points in front of me.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't have all the talking points. Neither do I. I can do this blindfolded, by the way. What Special Counsel Robert Hur actually said was that a jury would view Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a fuzzy memory. They didn't say he was a bumbling fool. And they weren't making a conclusive statement about Biden's mental ability. What they were saying is that this is how a jury would view him. And the fuzzy memory comment was not about Biden's mental fitness. It was about the fact that a lot of the allegations or the things that they were investigating took place 5, 10, 15 years ago. And if I were to ask you, hey, what did you do 10 years ago to the day? You would have no idea. Like, any rational person would have absolutely no idea what they were doing 10 years ago to the day or when this document got into their possession. And the special counsel, Robert Hur, specifically said that he is not being charged because there's not enough evidence to convict him of a crime.
So if he's not a bumbling, stumbling old man, why'd they sack him the way they did to throw in Kamala at the last second?
See, it's so fun. It's so funny, man. It's like you got to move on with the talking points. It's just you got to move on with the talking points. You have to move the goalposts every single time. If it's not this, it's this, and if it's not this, it's this. If it's not this, it's this. Joe Biden made the decision himself to step aside. It's one of the most honorable things that anybody's ever done. It's one of the most honorable things that anybody's ever done in power. Donald Trump had the ability to pass the baton to a younger generation of leaders. He chose not to because he's a power-hungry freak. And so Joe Biden made that decision. Now we have Kamala Harris, an experienced prosecutor who's running up against a convicted felon, a proven sexual abuser.
Joe Biden didn't make the decision. They sacked him.
He did. He said that himself. By the way,
he did not.
By the way,
he tried to stay in, and you know it. Hold on.
By the way, the things I just mentioned. You mentioned your girlfriend's in your room. Donald Trump assaulted a woman, was found liable for doing it. Why? How can you look your girlfriend in the eyes and tell her that you're voting for Donald Trump, who assaults women?
It's my daughter, bro, not my girlfriend.
Okay, how can you look your daughter in the eyes and tell her that you're voting for somebody who assaults women? You think it's funny? I don't think assaulting women's funny.
Yeah, dude, I think when I'm sure the reports that come out on walls with 2 boys, I'm sure you've
that's
turned
been
a blind eye
completely
to that.
debunked. There's literally no evidence to cite that. But please don't pivot. How can you look your daughter in the eyes and tell her that you're voting for somebody who assaults women, somebody who's on audio bragging about assaulting women, somebody who's on audio saying he wants to date a 10-year-old girl, somebody who's on audio calling his own daughter voluptuous and saying that he'd date her if she weren't his daughter, somebody who's also been accused of sexual assault 27 times.
So why when
no, answer the question.
No.
Answer the question.
Why was this never brought up before he was president ever?
Actually, he was accused of sexual assault many times before he was president.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
And he
I
damn
can-
sure wasn't ever fucking brought into court for it.
Yeah. A lot of accusations don't go to court. Matter of fact, a very small amount of accusations actually go to court.
So all the accusations against him that are weak in proof, you'll sit and believe. But, but you're already saying, Walls, oh, it's been debunked, even though it's been 3 days since it's happened.
It's
and it hasn't been debunked.
wait. There's literally no evidence of that taking place. It was something that was made up by somebody on Twitter. By the way,
Isn't evidence something that you get when you go to court? If they went to court?
It was something that was made up on Twitter. It came from Twitter, numbnuts. There's no evidence to back it up. By the way, Ivana Trump, 1989, accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. Jill Harth, 1992, accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. Somebody in 1994 with an anonymous pseudonym accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. E. Jean Carroll accused Donald Trump in 2019 of sexual assault. Summer Zervos in 2007 accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. Alva Johnson in 2016 accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. What are you talking about that people didn't do it before he was president? This guy's been a freak for years.
He's never been convicted of anything.
He was found liable for assaulting a woman. He was found liable for assaulting a woman.
Even that
in
bullshit sexual case against him, you had to come back. They had to come back, extend the statute of limitations after years.
They did not extend. That's, oh my God, the misinformation is crazy.
No.
They didn't extend the statute of limitations. It wasn't a criminal case. What
gave
they
a 1 year
what the New York
period to
State
bring old
legislature
shit.
did was pass a law that allowed women to sue their abusers, even if it passed the statute of limitations. And this law has been used thousands of times by other women to sue powerful people like Harvey Weinstein. Do you have a problem with that law being in place?
Yeah, I have a problem
problem
with
with
30.
that?
I have a problem with after 30 years, you come back and you make somebody look a certain kind of way with limited proof and limited ability for them to defend themselves.
Listen, if your daughter got assaulted, God forbid, and in 30 years she wanted to sue her abuser, you'd be against it, right? You'd tell her that's stupid, right?
Oh, my daughter's smart enough that she'd come forward way before 30 years.
Hold on. It's not about...
No.
Hold on. There are plenty of intelligent women who get assaulted and they don't come forward out of trauma. So if your daughter got assaulted, God forbid, and in 30 years... Hold on. And in 30 years she wanted to sue her abuser, would you call her stupid? Would you call her silly?
I would say there's a statute of limitations for a reason, and it isn't 30 years for a reason.
You would tell your... If she could sue that guy in a civil case, you would tell her not to do that?
You using my daughter as your way to like prove points.
Yeah, it's
I'm
proving
sure
to you.
For a lot of the 20-year-olds
it's proving to you how fucked up. Yeah, it's proving to you how fucked up your view is. That she's not. She'd be smarter enough to do it immediately. Give me a break.
Because anybody
can
tell
your daughter.
Dipshit, anybody can come.
Answer the question, buddy. Answer the question. Would you tell your daughter that if she wanted to sue her abuser in 30 years, would you tell her that she's wrong to do that?
I'm telling you, dipshit, that after 30 years, you should have came by before, or your chance is gone.
I just hope your daughter is still listening to the fact that you, her father, would tell her in 30 years that she should have come forward sooner, that she would not have the support of you, that she should have come forward sooner.
Yeah.
You're a freak. You're a freak, and that's why it's utterly embarrassing that you're voting for Donald Trump when you have a daughter. The fact that you can look her in the eyes and openly on the internet praise Donald Trump, even though he's assaulted women, he's bragged about assaulting women, he's talked about dating 10-year-old girls. You, sir, are an embarrassment.
You're a dumbass.
And you can be mad at me all you want, but I wouldn't tell my daughter that she's silly for suing a guy who assaulted her 30 years later.
I just think you're a fucking dipshit.
And you can be mad all you want. It's not my fault that you're a bad father when it comes to protecting your daughter if she wanted to sue her abuser 30 years later.
Like most liberals, you're the one who seems mad.
You know what? You're right. I am angry when people discredit victims who have proven their cases in court beyond in the evidence that they need to prove it to. Yeah, I'm mad. Yeah.
Hey, dipshit, do you know what a statute of limitation is?
What a stupid idiot you are. What a stupid idiot.
Do you know what a statute of limitation is?
Do you know that only applies to criminal cases?
Usually about 7 years.
You know that applies to criminal cases, right? We're talking about a civil case, numbnuts.
Yeah, well, even a civil case,
exactly.
He had to change it for him to be a 1 year period for him to go back.
Just to be clear, you're against states passing a law that would allow the victims, people who've been abused, to sue their abusers.
Yes, you dumb fuck. Why wouldn't I be?
You're against women holding their abusers accountable?
Why should somebody be able to come through after 30 fucking years?
You have a daughter. What do you mean you're against the abuse holding their abusers accountable?
Why should somebody be able to come forward 30 years after the fact?
Because you know what? A lot of women don't come forward. And a lot of these women were abused by very powerful people like Harvey Weinstein.
A minute ago was you wouldn't know you would, if somebody came to you 10 years later, you wouldn't know what you were doing that day, but you're expecting somebody to be able to defend themselves in a sexual case.
Exactly. When it comes to traumatic
events.
when it comes to traumatic events, yes, you're going to remember it. If you're packing documents in a box one day in September, you're not going to remember packing boxes into a document. Documents into a box.
You are about as full of shit as anything I've ever heard.
You have a daughter. You have a daughter. You should be fighting to allow women to sue their abusers.
I have a daughter.
I hope your daughter's listening. I hope your daughter's listening to the fact that you wouldn't want her to sue her abuser 30 years later because, why didn't you come forward sooner? Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Dude, all you are is a fucking talking point.
And you can use all the stupid words you want. It doesn't change your disgrace. Your dishonor will live with you forever.
Oh, dude,
God forbid something happens to somebody you love.
I'm waiting for you to just hang up on me and run away with your fucking little.
I ain't running. I'm standing right here. I ain't running. I'll talk my shit to you all I want.
Saying the same shit.
Yeah. I'm pointing out the fact that, like, when it comes to women being abused, you're just, you should have come forward sooner. You're willing to take the side of the abuser, not the victim, and it's crazy.
There's a reason that after a certain amount of years, laws don't charge you anymore. And
do you think that should be the case? Do you think that should be the case? Do you think that if Donald Trump raped somebody 30 years ago, that he shouldn't be held accountable for that assault?
Say that again.
If you had the option to expand the statute of limitations so that if Donald Trump brutally raped somebody 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you're saying that you don't want him to be held accountable? Or would you say, let's expand the statute of limitations to make him held accountable today?
No, I don't think people should have a lifetime to be able to come forward with
for assault. Wait, there's a murder. There's a lifetime of murder. Like, there's no statute of limitations on murder. Are you against that?
Well, no, but that's a little
wait,
different.
What the fuck? Okay. So when it comes to somebody's life being taken, you're like, no statute of limitations. Makes sense. I agree. But when it comes to a woman getting assaulted, you're like, you know what? Those statute of limitations sound really good to me.
No,
what?
Because listen, they didn't wait 30 years to report the murder, dumbass. It's a little different.
There are murders that are investigated 30 years later.
Yeah, they're investigated 30 years later, but the people have went missing. It's a little different than you just not saying.
That's not true. There have been plenty of murders in American history that have been solved 10, 20, 30 years later based off new evidence such as like DNA testing and things like that come to light. But it's crazy to me that if, like, let me ask you this. If Donald Trump assaulted your daughter, would you still vote for him?
Yeah, I would. God, are you fucking that dumb?
Are you five? Can you answer a simple question? Would you?
Retarded?
Would you? Wow. If you say that word one more time, you're fucking gone. You hear me? If you say that word one more time, you're fucking gone. You hear me? Now I ask you a simple question. Would you vote for Donald Trump if he assaulted your daughter?
Dude, is that even a question worth the answer?
Yes, it is a question.
Moron?
Yes, it is a question.
Well, it's the stupidest fucking question.
Then answer it, numbnuts.
Of course I wouldn't, you dipshit.
Okay, so if he just assaults other women, you'd still vote for him.
You don't have proof he assaulted any of those women.
We have his own goddamn words. He said on audio, I don't even wait, I just do it. Grab him by the blank.
Why did he win the election?
We also have him on audio saying that he walks in on girls changing at beauty pageants.
Yeah, well...
Yeah. Well, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm going to punch more drywall and drink my Monster Energy drinks.
I'm not going to vote for fucking Kamala Harris and their tranny policies. Well,
yeah, now you're gone. Now you're gone, you little piece of crap. Get the hell out of my live and don't come back. You little. I want to say so much more, but I can't. I want to say so much more, but I can't because it's TikTok Live. I want to say so much more, but I can't because it's TikTok Live. I have to follow the goddamn rules. But you know what? I'll let you guys say it for me. I won't. I won't say it because I can't on TikTok Live. But man, I want to say so much more. I feel better. No, I'm not done yet. Okay, now I'm done. JW, thank you for the $25. Guess is totally inept. I'm voting early in Maryland tomorrow. I'm so excited to vote blue up and down the ballot. I love that, JW. I can't wait to hear that, ma'am. And I can't wait to have you vote, man. Everybody got to vote, bro. Everybody got to vote. Get out there and vote early, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, go do it. And follow JW's lead. Megan, thank you for the $20. Thank you for standing up for victims. I was raped and never came forward because of people like that guest blaming women. I'm intelligent. Excuse me, I hiccuped. I'm intelligent and well educated, but no one knows how they'll react until it happens to them. Great point, Morgan. Or excuse me, Megan. Great point. I mean, seriously, that's the thing. Like all these Trumps are, oh, it happened X amount of years ago, so I don't believe her. Go like, I won't swear, but like, exactly, Megan. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And I'm so sorry that that happened to you. And I'm so sorry that there's freaks like that out there who have daughters, who have goddamn daughters, dude. Jillian, thank you for the $20. You absolutely cooked that guy. One of the hottest things I've ever seen. Here voting blue in Nevada. Jillian, so glad to hear that you're voting blue in Nevada. Swing state. So get out there and vote early. Bring your friends, family, and loved ones to vote in Nevada. I think I'm going to be in Nevada in a week or so. So I'm going to be in your great state. Rebecca, thank you for the $1. I want in with this guy. I should have brought you up, Rebecca. I'm sorry. I just saw that. Gerard, thank you for the $20. Keep up the good work. Drop 5 ballots in Nevada today for Kamala Harris. The entire family voting blue. Huh? I love that, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Megan, thank you for the $20. It's incredibly generous. Megan, thank you for the $1 for grounding, self-care, and breathing exercises after that last dude. Therapist tip. Eye cubs. Eye cubes to the face are great when dysregulated from a Trump supporter. Golly, that's some good advice. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Ed, thank you for the $10. Thank you for fighting Trump pansies. Yeah, we try, man. I mean, golly, bro. Daniel, thank you for the $10. Coulson, thank you for the $10. Any tips for actually researching this info? Yeah, just fact checks I think are really great. Patricia, thank you for the $10. Love your lives. MAGA is so unhinged. I agree. Sarah, oh, I already read that one. Daniel, thank you for the $10. Stop the crypto fascist propaganda. Yeah. Sydney, thank you for the $10. You being so passionate is extremely attractive. Thank you, Sydney. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for being alive. It's great. And Emily, thank you for the $3. These people raise future abusive partners. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Treat your teach your sons better than that. You know, teach your sons better than that, ladies, gents, boys, and girls. Absolutely crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy that people like that exist. So I think I'm gonna. Who's live right now? I'll bring up this guy. I'll give this guy an invite, but I think I might. I'm deciding. Is Chris live by any chance? God, that guy was so annoying. I can't believe people like that have daughters, man. I feel like, you hear all the time about like specifically men, right? Specifically men like having their perspectives change if they have daughters. And when you hear guys like that, it's just like so goddamn crazy, isn't it? You know? Parker got banned. Request him, Harry. Is Parker live? What is he live on? He's doing a restart. Parker's live right now. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I think I might wrap up the live because I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go ride the Peloton and lift. It's arms today. We did chest yesterday. So I'm going to go do that. I don't know if oh, thank you, Jackie, for the whale diving. I appreciate you. I don't know what account Parker's on right now. Any word on Isaiah? Isaiah's out there doing campaign work. I don't know where Parker's live, but maybe if somebody could find out in the chat or like put his username. But anyway, listen, ladies and gents, I apologize for wrapping up the live right now. I wish I could go longer. I'm just trying to balance life. You know what I mean? Trying to balance life, self-care and all that good stuff and debates. So trying to do all that at once. But here, one sec before we wrap up. Nuno, thank you for the $3. Hey, Harry, question. This. I think it's legal, but I don't think it's, moral is a different question, but I think he could theoretically do that. Nathan, thank you for the $25. Voted early in North Carolina today. Nathan, I'm so glad to hear that. I was recently in North Carolina, and there was an early voting location at NC State. It was packed with young people, so I think that we're feeling hopeful. Mackenzie, thank you for the $1. My whole family's voting blue down the ballot. 15 of us in Texas. That's amazing, Mackenzie. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for doing that work. 15 of you, all blue. I love that. Maryland, thank you for the $5. Voting all blue in Kentucky to equal out my dad. Just fighting for my life as a Democrat in Kentucky. Maryland, excuse me. Blue dot in a red state. I can only imagine. That's tough. But I appreciate you doing that anyway. Laura, thank you for the $2. I waited about 25 years before I talked about my abuse. Exactly. But that guy and men like that, they don't see. I think that people lie and stuff like that's crazy. Zavi, thank you for the $1. Raid Jaden instead. Yeah, if you can like throw up, if maybe one of the mods know Jaden's live, I'll raid him for sure. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody in between, I'm wrapping up the live here. I appreciate you guys being here. We will hopefully be back tomorrow night. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Also, double tap the. I don't need to double tap the screen. I'm leaving. I post on every single social media platform. I post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. All of those links are in my bio. I post on Snapchat every single day, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff every single day. So it'd mean a lot if you can go follow or subscribe to whatever the platforms are. That means a lot. It goes a long way. And Snapchat, I've been posting a lot on Snapchat. It's been fun over there. So definitely go follow on Snapchat. And the last thing I'll say is have a great day tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a Thursday. If it's not already Thursday for you, take care of yourselves, drink a lot of water, eat some food, see some people you care about, tell the people you love them, give them a hug. We're 12 days from the election today. So, keep working hard, keep the pressure on. We'll full gas, no brakes, all the way until election day. Now, do me a favor, go raid all these folks. Dom2Fly apparently is live. He's debating. Amanda Rose is live and debating. Good Trouble is live and debating. All these usernames right here. Go raid them. Say Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. Let them know that we sent you. Let them know that we care about you. Let them know that we appreciate the work that they're doing and trying to convince people to vote for Kamala Harris. It's going to take all of us, not just one of us. So go tell all these people we care about them. Go tell all these people we appreciate them. That's Santana Jones, Amanda Rose, and Good Trouble. And I'm sure Killer or one of the mods are going to throw back up the usernames on the chat or in somewhere on the screen. You'll see it. There it is. Santana Jones, Amanda Rose, Good Trouble. Go raid all these people. Go let them know that we sent them Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. And yeah. All right, ladies, gents, boys, and girls, I appreciate you guys. And we will talk soon. All right. Have a great day tomorrow. Anything else? No. All right, everybody. We'll talk soon. Mwah.